Hey, y'all. Those calls.
What up, everybody? Cheers. Happy Friday. This is sick. Got some folks on. This is great. Oh, so people already commented. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. What a week, huh? Look at this. And it turned out I gave this live stream a name beforehand, just based on some of the research we did on Wednesday. And look where the stock ended up. It ended up right there, that $6 support range. So I'm looking at the title here. What did I call it? GameStop watch $11 level on the upside and $6 level on support. And then look at where we ended up, right? $6. So my first takeaway for this week, obviously nothing happened since we saw where GameStop opened up on Thursday. And I pulled back right around to where it was after hours the day before, which is kind of interesting because it was a little bit of indication this time around, not always. And but then it came back a little bit more today, and then it's right at that $6 support level, which I think is huge. Oh no, my only takeaway is like, if you were short or you added to your short, I think the short interest may have even increased this past week or the past 2 weeks. Like, and then this earnings came out and we're still above $6. That's going to be a little bit concerning to you, right? That's like my takeaway of the week. And we'll get more into the whole GameStop stuff and like the quarterly performance and everything like that. But like this was, you had the market kind of selling off a bit. Then you had this news, which we didn't think was necessarily all that bearish, right? But if shorts are just looking for a reason to just drive it down, then you didn't quite get it. Of course, it could always follow through next week, but right now the chart still looks really constructive, more than constructive. I just think it looks super bullish. So, I mean, like it was overbought too. This is the weekly, but if we change it to the daily, I think I lose my chart if I change it to the daily. Hold on. If I do this, so super overbought. Like that's a natural pullback even without. So anyway, that quarterly earnings wasn't bad enough to give up all these gains that we got following the Cohen bump, if you will. So we can see a couple people said, "Hey, cheers, everybody! The wait, the hype. What's up, Sarah? Cheers, Hugo. What's up, man? Is this all financial advice? Makeshift player? No, it is not financial advice. If you're seeking financial advice, you got to seek out a financial professional. I always say this. Check out all the videos too. Like you got to sit down with a financial professional, someone who can learn more about your financial situation. These streams are more educational in nature. I have a more aggressive approach to investing, and so view it like that. Or like here's a potential way that some people out there invest. It may not be a good fit for you, so that's how you should view these streams. But who else? Trey, what's up, Trey? Shorting just over 100% now. Oh, that's right, because I saw it got updated this week. Let me look that figure up. Hugo says short interest is 118%. I did see that figure. Oh, I'm just playing, bro. Makeshift player messing with me. Cheers. I appreciate that. We gotta have a laugh about that. Because I always say, look at all the videos. I keep on saying I'm gonna disclaim the shit out of this chat because it's super important. I really believe in it. Like my style of investing, the super aggressive approach isn't for everybody. So, but it's good that we can have a laugh about that. Stephen Hussey, hell yeah, roaring kitty on a Friday night, getting at it. Stephen, cheers, mate. Hope you had a nice week. Hope you have a nice weekend as well. Cheers, welcome. Yeah, this is great. We got some folks on here. So yeah, actually, let me bring that up right now, that short interest. I think I saw, where'd you see the 118%, Hugo? Where do you get it? Like, I usually get it from Market Watch, but I think Wall Street Journal might be even day. Let's see what Market Watch is. Here we go. Yeah, so there we go. I think Market Watch is like one day earlier before Yahoo Finance. 118! Oh! 118. And you think that's adjusted? What do they got for short interest? 57. What do they got for a float? 48. Okay, so the float, that's got to be adjusted for, I think that's adjusted for Cohen, right? I think that's been adjusted. Jordan, hey, cheers, Jordan, welcome. Thoughts on Justin's new Seeking Alpha? So I got it pulled up here. I saw there was a new Seeking Alpha. Actually, there were two articles since we had the stream on Wednesday. There was a bearish one, which was sick. I think I have it up here. This is good. So we got it. Remember, I was hoping for more bear. It's one thing to get people posted on Twitter about it, but it's one thing to have a formal bearish article published. So I was looking through this. I'll poke around here today. Let's spend some time. In fact, if you got any bearish takes right away, if you want to send it in the chat, feel free. Get us going on that front. But then I did see Justin posted one today, which I haven't even looked at. I had just gotten the notification. In fact, I think that's what my portfolio. I think that's what that notification is right there. But I just pulled it up because I got the email and I'm like, oh, let me pull that up real quick. But I did see a couple things he said elsewhere, and it was a lot of the same stuff I said on Twitter, where it's like if you replace the word, I forget when I posted it. I posted it that weekend. Remember we did that research that Friday stream, where you just replace the word pet with gaming. It's the same strategy. And now I have a feeling Justin's going to lead more toward a potential buyout, which we've mentioned is a possibility. I don't know what his take is. I got to read this article. Maybe we'll do it here today. I think it's a distinct possibility, and the odds of that have increased over the past month. I'm still not convinced that's what the end game here is. Just because he doesn't have he's kind of young, but he doesn't have a history of that type of a thing. But it's always a possibility with a company with this type of a business where they have some cash flows that are expected looking out a few years. But then if they hire a couple advisors, in theory, you could see a PE firm getting interested in this and getting involved, taking it private. And you can see it's kind of just laid flat here, the price-wise, over the past year. It hasn't done much. So you can see why there could be of PE interest. And when the price has been as depressed as it has been all this time, I take that possibility as a legitimate possibility. But with Cohen, I'm not so sure. So I'll be curious what Justin says. I don't know if anyone knows, but Dale, welcome, Dale. What's up, man? 100 subs and 14 viewers at a time. I remember being the only one here before, not chatting but listening. You deserve everything. Cheers, Dale. I was gonna say I remember those days too. We're still early right now, right? But I actually just said that to my wife. I'm like we had a number of people on there Wednesday. I'm like, dude, just back in August, there was legit one person. There were 0 people at some time. So there's a couple folks. Daly was one of them where there wasn't many people here. And it's been more focused on GameStop recently, just because that's the stock of the hour right now. But as Dale and other people now probably know, there's other stocks that we analyze too. Maybe we'll get around to it someday. Happy Friday! Oh, happy Friday, Daily O'Brien. Makeshift. I bought in GME recently and found your channel doing DD. Excellent. Actually, I'm curious how everyone found the channel and everything like that. Because in case you can't tell, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing on this content front. I've gotten some good advice from people, and I'm super appreciative for people who have given me feedback on the channel and the streams and the videos and some suggestions and recommendations. I'm like super grateful for that because, like I said, I'm kind of just seeing where it goes, seeing what people are interested in. And so the feedback at these early weeks and these early months, I just can't thank you enough, all of you. So just thank you. Yeah, Makeshift. I'm curious, and however you found the channel, I haven't really done anything. I figure YouTube, people are finding. I've had some folks explain to me the importance of the YouTube search function, so I appreciate that. And what else? Just Twitter. Like, I got to be more active and stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work with the research stuff too, so I got to bear that in mind. But Jordan saying Jordan says the Bears' main point is the console won't improve profitability. We obviously disagree. I really agree with Justin's point of view. I don't think shorts can actually cover what happens then. Yeah, so I still don't know. That 118%. Hopefully, maybe there's going to be folks more experienced with this short interest stuff than me. But when you account, I assume this accounts for Cohen's figure, this float. But what if you start accounting for other folks too? And if you pull up the funds too in the ETFs, all their percentage ownership. But here's the thing. Let me just say this. A lot of people talk about short squeeze. A short squeeze has never been a prominent part of the GME thesis. It hasn't been for a while where that's the reason you'd get involved. I know it was for some people. This is why you've gotten the pullback this week, because people didn't get it. They kind of got in. They saw the Cohen thing. Something could happen, and we were all talking in the stream. Something could happen. You got to account for that. It didn't happen, so it makes sense that it might sell off because there wasn't huge news on it. But let's say, like, now the chart's looking good, right? Let's look at this. Oh, yeah, it's right at the chart's. The chart's looking good. This still looks good to me. It's not the best chart ever. If the best chart ever would have kept going up. But now it's like, now you got to keep your finger on the pulse of everything. But if things start like moving up, I think a lot of this short interest. I don't know if everyone agrees with this, but I think a lot of the short interest is in weak hands. Because it seems like an irrational position with the short. I'm repeating myself. I don't want to say it too much because I know I said it all in the last stream too. It just seems like an irrational position. So if the stock like bumbles around 6 and then starts popping, I don't know if the shorts can cover, Jordan. I don't. But maybe they can, because we did see Burry. He was a marginal seller earlier this year, and then we got a couple of small sales from Permit. So not huge sales, nothing too alarming or anything in that if you're a GME bull, but nevertheless, sales are sales. So as to whether or not the shorts can cover, one thing you need to consider is that as the stock price starts to rise, let's say it hits 8, let's say it hits 9, 10, 11, 12, boom, boom, boom. If people are selling all the way up, then it really makes it hard for a short squeeze to happen. I'm no short squeeze expert, by the way. If everyone read about the VW squeeze back in the day, there's not many opportunities I come across where I at least will consider that possibility. I at least consider it with GME, even though I don't think it's likely. But anyway, that's the thing. And then if there's a buyout potential too, then what do you do with all the shares? But anyway, if people are selling, let's say there's no buyout, but the stock price is just rising. If people are selling all the way up, it gets hard to be a squeeze. So you need to consider if people are selling. That's why it's so important, the narrative. If there's this, not just the stock price rising, although I do think that's going to cause the short interest to decline, but if there's a sudden oh wow, GameStop is turning it around, which I have to say, I concede, it's taking, as I'm still on long GME, it's taking longer than I expected. Here it is, September. And then we had another earnings call, and then here it's pulling back again. So I still am in the bull camp now, obviously, right? But it's when is that going to turn? When will that sentiment turn? And we'll see what happens. Maybe we still just need some more big news. Maybe you need one more big story, one more big article to get it going. But sometimes it can just happen with the rising price. It sounds crazy and I'm a fundamental. What did we say? We tried to come up with a new name. I'm a fundamentals-oriented investor or something like that, value investor. But sometimes just the rising price. Okay, whatever the reason that price is rising for, that will start changing people's opinion of the stock, which is disappointing as a value investor. But sometimes that can happen. It seems like that would be unlikely as just the price rising itself. But it's something to consider. This is why I'm eyeing the chart, is because if we hit 8, 9, 10, even on no news, and you're short, you got to start panicking a little bit. I actually can't believe there's not a little bit more panic from the shorts so far. But again, I didn't think that the quarterly release wasn't so bearish. It just wasn't as bullish as some people thought. And in my opinion, that's maybe a reason not to go long the stock, but it's not a reason to keep adding to the shorts. It really isn't. I don't know. I don't know. But beep beep boop 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 boop. Is it the robots? I don't know. We know it's not totally the robots, right? I mean, I'm making a joke, right? There's real people who are short, and there's a legitimate case for shorting the stock. I just don't think it's 100% confidence level, as we're talking about. All right, a couple questions. Sorry, I know I start rambling here. Beware the rambling, as you gotta do your best to try to interrupt me. We need some of those. Everyone knows Jim Cramer, right? They hit some noise or something to interrupt the stream. Okay, Jordan. Yep, Jordan. Okay, Trey 50. Daniel, distribution deals are strong. I could see them making the delivery at door offer improved, and the actual online e-commerce sales can only get better if they improve the app. Yeah, no shit. I mean, I agree, Trey. I think I was taking some notes on some stuff to some points I wanted to bring up, but I know people kind of maybe it's just an app, or it's just e-commerce, or it's only e-commerce is only 20% of sales, but it's rapidly growing, and it's going to be an increasing part of GameStop's business. And some people might say there's no serious competitive edge, but look no farther than Chewy. I mean, and again, they're the retailer dedicated to gaming. Amazon's not dedicated to gaming. Walmart's not. Best Buy's not. I mean, these are competitors digitally, right? But to be a go-to shop, if people start loving you if they enjoy shopping at your store, and they like being a member, and they get adequate perks, and they're getting same-day delivery, and the app's sick to use, that's not this big, huge, crazy story, right? And that's what a lot of people are thinking GameStop needs, myself included, at least to a degree. But this stuff is impactful. It will have an impact, and this is why. And I pulled this up again because it's super important. That's why, like I said, they're focusing on these first too. And these things that, like Trey is saying, they may not seem that big, but once you get to Q4 and then Q1 next year, and you got these new consoles, following all the additional cost reductions by way of store closures and improved working capital management, this is going to flow through to free cash flow. And I'm more surprised. I'm surprised more people either don't agree with that, or that's the thing. So I was looking through. We'll kind of go through this, but I was looking for more figures on what the forecasts are going to be, looking out Q4, Q1 of next year, because it's free cash flow that's going to dictate. The narrative is important, the story is important, but at the end of the day, the value of any security, of course, is the discounted free cash flows. And I mean, you have to have a really bearish outlook looking out 6 months, 12 months. And I do think GameStop's going to generate positive free cash flow. So if people don't think that, then there's a case to be had. But I really think that's incredibly bearish. And I think they're wrong about that, but we'll see. In reference to a tender, Jordan, yeah, in reference to a tender offer. I don't know. So the thing about a tender offer too is think of who has all the shares. Who has the shares? BlackRock, FMR, Vanguard. These are things to consider if whoever it is. It can be Cohen, which is a naturally a candidate this point, but it could be any PE firm, and because of those free cash flows. I mean, this is kind of a takeout candidate. You know what I mean? It's got at least free. It has serious secular risk. I mean, that's a legitimate secular risk, but it's got some free cash flows even right now through this tail end of the console cycle. There's going to be free cash flows looking out a couple of years, and then if they can just, turn things around, transform the business a bit, then there's a case to be made that there's probably PE firms looking at this. So when you're thinking about that, a potential for a buyout, even though right now it's not my base case, I don't think it's likely, but I can understand. I'll be curious to read Justin's take. I can understand why it's front of mind for a lot of people, but not the base case for me. But when I think about it, I think, yeah, look how many shares they have. BlackRock 11, FMR 9, Vanguard 5. You get up to 25 million shares right there. And then if it were Cohen, he's already got 6 million. And if he's buying more right now, were there any filings after hours today? No, right? I was looking. No, okay, something to keep. So this is the thing. The next 2 weeks, if this is what I'm doing. The next 2 weeks, I'm just following the chart, and I'm just following any filings. Or there's really not much else to do. We got the same story during the conference call and during the press release. We're on track, and it's right now. It's just waiting for more news, making sure the price, everything's still staying intact, and then waiting for sentiment to change. Could that just be by rising price or more news? I don't know. But right now, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on everything. Makeshift player, I love the intro. Cheers. I appreciate that. Right? I'm trying my hand at some video editing stuff, right? I just tried to pick up Final Cut Pro, trying to learn it in August. You see it in some of the videos, but I was trying to piece together some of those just having some fun with it, right? Oh, God, this kitty skateboarding, huh? Oh, I can't see the whole shirt there. Yeah, who cares? But I'm glad you like that. I keep on trying to switch things up too, just trying different things with the video. Just I don't know what I'm doing. Trade 50 Daniel, I think bears are also betting on digital-only consoles selling way more, and it would crush the physical market. So I actually have a comment on that, Trey. Oh, but then Trey also said, but why would the manufacturers even make a console with a disk drive then? Right, so they just need good press. So there's a couple things that, first of all, it seems as though more people are much more interested in the disc version of it. Maybe they're not all going to purchase discs, that's not what I'm saying, but it seems like it's much more powerful. And then it seems like GameStop is going to sell some of those digital consoles this time, but there's less technology, a little bit less powerful, and I don't think it offers the same level of backwards compatibility. I don't believe that's the case, but it's much cheaper. So, but here's the thing: GameStop they're gonna be sell some of the digital consoles, and if you saw, they're gonna get involved with that Xbox All Access. They're gonna be selling some subscriptions and some packages with those consoles. And this isn't the huge bull thesis. These are just when people come up with the bearish thesis, they say, oh, this is a digital console, GameStop's dead. And it's like, well, hold on a second. GameStop can team up with some of these vendors and still sell those consoles, even though it may cannibalize their business a little bit. But they can sell this other stuff that maybe it's part of, remember we talked about like an Amazon Prime equivalent for GameStop, where it's related just to what GameStop's products are, and some people were talking about this too. Imagine you get a subscription model where you're a GameStop subscriber, right? And I think some folks are talking about this, where you can lease the console just like you do with Xfinity, right? You lease the you lease the cable box, and you lease the console, and you just get maybe it's a monthly rate or whatever it is, whatever the subscription model is, and you can get games or trade your games back in. And I know about GameFly, I know this is a thing, trading games in, but and this, I know people have made this comparison too, but the Netflix comparison is not all that ridiculous. That's how they got started too with these discs, and it's not a perfect comparison. But we're just keeping an open mind about all this stuff. I just think it makes sense not to poo-poo every idea just because it's not some crazy idea. It's important to appreciate that GameStop can remain relevant even with these digital consoles just by some other methods as well. But in addition to that, the regular disc version, it sounds like it's quite a bit more powerful. I talked to my friends. They're all about the disc version as well, even though they themselves may download the games. But I think there's in the higher cost of the disc console and also the higher cost of the games, I still think now that's a case that a lot of people are talking about. I think a lot of people and most people on the stream are kind of on board with discs are still somewhat relevant, so we don't need to harp on that too much. Okay. Where did I go? Oh, I scrolled too far. Okay, here we go. Daily O'Brien. Oh, sorry, I skipped someone. Makeshift. Yeah, I mainly got in because Cohen recently bought and Barry did not sell. That's right. So that's a good enough reason to at least. I mean, not necessarily a recommendation, right? But that caught your interest. There's a story happening here, right? I always talk about the story that's unfolding on this stream because And I myself am focused on the data too, but you got to try to track the story as best you can. And things like Cohen get involved. That's why. How is there a bearish take with Cohen getting involved? I don't understand how there could be a bearish interpretation of that. But like, so I'm not surprised by that makeshift player, or that Bari is still involved for a year and that he's been sending letters to the management team. I talk about how it's important to have a management team that cares. Talk about an investor base who cares too. Yes, I mean they're in it because they want the stock price to rise and all this stuff. But like, they're trying, they're caring, and it may seem silly, but that type of stuff matters for lots of bull theses, and even lots of bull theses in particular. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that makeshift player. Thanks for sharing. Daily O'Brien, we need more good news. Pre-orders might help. I don't know. The GameStop general public view is still so negative. Need turnaround for the Switch. That would quickly be reflected in the stock price. Switch is in change, not the gaming console. I know, you got to be careful. Yeah, you go back. So I agree. But this is the thing. So to Daly's point, they need more good news. They need people want more good news, myself included. You want more good news because if you have your invested in a stock, you want it to move up quick. Do you need it? Not necessarily. If I may just counter this just quickly, just a hypothetical example. Let's say they did have intentions to exhaust their buyback authorization. I'm not saying that's the case. I still don't think that's the likely case even right now. But if they were, do you want to just drop all this good news during this quarterly earnings call? Wouldn't you? Maybe they only had 1 month following the bond exchange. Maybe that wasn't enough to exhaust the authorization. Then they were in a blackout period. Now the quarter has ended. Maybe they waited a couple days. It's conceivable, just like they did last year. And I know I mentioned this on the stream. Where are we? Where was right here? So they had that the sell-off. This was you can see this. This was September last year. They had the sell-off following it. And then a couple days later, in 10Q proves this, they started buying back shares, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but you can entertain the idea that they wouldn't want to drop too much news just because they want to keep the price low. Now, that said, the price has been depressed so long. I kind of agree that you kind of want a higher price to get that narrative. People be more optimistic about the company, and that's reflexivity, right? Because the price rises, people are more optimistic about it, people getting involved. It kind of increases the chances. I make a comparison to Tesla, but it increases the chances of success. It does. It really does. So I'm not so sure we need good news imminently daily, but I agree. I'd have to say for my thesis, I'd certainly need it within 3 to 6 months, because if it takes longer than that, then then it's like the time horizon. We're getting close on like would that be almost a 2-year time horizon, which is fine if you're looking for like a 5x, 10x, but it just depends on your time horizon. And remember, the console's coming up. They're still just they're in prep mode. Maybe it's going to be a December where they drop stuff. Even still, I'm not saying that that's going to be the case, but it could be they're just working. Because they're so focused on these first 2 items right now, the more sexy stuff, if you will, these later ones, maybe that's in the pipeline and we just didn't get there yet. I don't know. But I'm with you. All else equal, I would like more positive news with any company I'm invested in. But yeah, and to your point, honestly, Trey 50 Daniel, honestly, you need a more charismatic leader for companies to be interesting. Just look at why big tech stocks like Tesla, Amazon, and Facebook keep growing even with bad news. And then Trey said daily, yeah, I think the bears agree with public sentiment that people have a negative experience at the stores. Yeah, so we talked about that, how being a good salesperson of your company, like someone like Elon Musk is just like crushing it with his company, regardless of your opinion of the fundamental outlook for the business or whatever. I think most people would agree he's selling his business quite well, and that's oftentimes a good. No, I'm not. Forget about whether or not there's a legitimate bull or bear thesis there. That's not the point. The point is just that most people would agree he's selling it quite well. And for most companies, having a good front person kind of telling that story to folks, getting more people involved is a good thing to have. So generally, I have to agree. Could Ryan Cohen be that person? Possibly. He's only got a 9% stake right now, just under 10%. He may not publicly speak about the company at all. We have no idea. But the way you check out that website, I know I'll just bring it up once right now quickly. The way people follow his actions, especially on the investment front, and talk about him, a lot of people care about his thoughts on this stuff. So I'd have to say, who is that saying that daily? And Trey, if he came out and started publicly speaking about it, the stock price would probably rise on that. That could kind of get things kicked off. But we just don't know if he will. Okay. Jordan said, well said. Bears assume digital console is a huge hit. I don't see that. Maybe 20% penetration. It's weaker, less. Jordan saying the digital consoles, it's weaker, less storage, slower, can't play any older games. I don't know. More than 20% seems wrong. I heard in the digital version last time didn't sell quite as well as the main version, the disc version, right? So we'll see. I mean, it's quite a bit cheaper this time around. We'll have to see, but I kind of lean that same way, where more people are leaning more toward the disc version. But again, GameStop still plays a role in both those, but indeed, they generate more free cash flow with used games. So something you need to consider. Trey, you need to make employees happy because negative employee sentiment. Oh, I agree with that. Trey was saying that. Then you need to provide better value to customers, stop hassling people for pre-orders, and provide value for trade-in. Although I think all the people mocking the trade-in value don't understand basic economics. Well, maybe. First of all, we talk about the different stakeholders. Folks here might be long shareholders. We might be common equity investors, but there are other stakeholders to consider. There are bond investors, there are employees to consider, there are customers to consider, there are multiple stakeholders, and you tend to create the most value for your business when you can do your best to satisfy all parties. It's not all about the investors. So I agree with you, Trey, but especially the employees, because they're a huge asset. I mean, they as being the only dedicated retailer for gaming, as large as GameStop is, they bring an expertise to this industry that's hugely valuable for folks, and they can provide guidance and expertise that other retailers can't. So I agree. You definitely want to you need to please a lot of folks and the customers as well. You need to provide a good experience all around there too. And are they hassling people for pre-orders? Yeah, that's something to consider too. You certainly don't want to drive customers away. You need to satisfy the customers at the end of the day. Trey, yeah. So and then the people always mocking GameStop for the trade-in value. They need to. It's a tough path, because if they pay too much for their inventory and then they don't sell enough, then it's not a viable business model. So it's kind of like and it's so open, right? Because the customers, the people trading in games, see what the cost is to GameStop because that's what they're getting, and then they see what it gets resold as. So I can see how that could be frustrating for folks. But yeah, to a degree, it's like part of the business. So yeah. Let me just see. Hugo, many people are saying that closing stores is because GME is going to die, but they don't realize that it's needed because of the e-commerce approval. Oh, so I agree, Hugo. That's a inaccurate take that I often see published, not just by individuals, but I also see it published different articles out there where people say GameStop's closing stores. This is really bad news. On the contrary, in a case like this, that can be really, really good news. They should be closing stores. Prominent investors have been saying this for quite a while, and I've thought this as well. There were just too many stores, too close together. They had to de-densify stuff, cut their costs. And they kind of have to do it to survive. That's the nature of some of these businesses, and I think over the long term that's going to be hugely impactful. It can be a good thing for the long term viability of the business model. That's how that works. So whenever you see that, it's not always a bad thing. I think it just catches people by surprise. Their headlines, their big numbers. Like if you see 300, you think that's a big number, but then you realize GameStop has 5,000 plus stores. You're like, all right, so it's a portion of it. Or when they're closing down the Norwegian stores, I think that gets people's attention. But if you really dug into the details, that's not that concerning. Searing, I got to catch up. Sorry, I know people probably responding to what I'm saying, and I got to catch up. Let me see. Searing called that I made a swing play, and today I rebought. Hey, congrats! If you made a swing trade and made profits, congrats to you. Congrats. Trey 50 Daniel, nowhere else can you just bring a 5-year-old game and get value from it regardless of how bad the game was received, and thus a very low value on the market. Right. So that's the benefit that GameStop brings to many customers out there. That's the thing. So there's some folks out there who probably go, well, I don't need to trade in my games, or I can just order stuff online and it's no big deal. Like for a lot of folks, they really value that ability to trade those games back in and for it to have resale value. That's really important to a lot of folks out there. And so it might not be a value add for many games out there, but it is for some folks, and that's a value that GameStop offers to people. I mean, in theory, there are other places you could do it as well, but like GameStop's the go-to place. Everyone knows this. You can just walk in, they have the expertise, and you at least know what you're getting when you go in there. And that's the thing. A lot of people say that GameStop's not bringing value on that front, but they are. They maybe just not you, but they are bringing value. And as long as there are still discs out there to be traded in and everything's not downloaded, that business, it still makes sense to exist. That's a legitimate value add. Okay. Makeshift player. Damn, I remember trading in my card game for 50 cents, but you're right, just supply, demand, and overhead. Right. It's literally about the life of the game, plus the fact that a used copy will sit on the shelf. Sitting inventory has a hidden cost associated. Right. Absolutely, inventory does. This is a big reason they're trying to increase inventory turns, trying to get that inventory base down, because it can be expensive to have to outlay the cash to get that inventory in the store and to have it just sit there. It's expensive to do. That's a big reason they're trying to improve working capital management. And that's why they have to stay at the higher prices. Trey's still talking about you need to resell those used games at a higher price. A studio, go over Justin's new Seeking Alpha article too. Hey, cheers per we got per Jordan's request. Got a drink now. Welcome. I don't recognize that name. Oh, sorry, you already did. Oh, I didn't go over Justin's article yet. I will. I haven't even read it yet. but I'd seen a couple of his comments, so it caught my attention. I'm like, all right, he's probably going to publish that soon. Trey, I think they're mostly in damage control trying to prep for console launch, and in my opinion, they're playing it too safe instead of trying their new ideas. Well, two things. I don't know why you think it's damage control. What in particular do you think is damage control? I'm not sure I see damage control. Like some of the stuff. So I reread the transcript, and they were saying some of the right stuff as it pertains to these two items, right? But instead of trying their new ideas, remember trying their new ideas, it kind of got impacted by the pandemic. And so that kind of impacted their testing of some of those, these social stores, these social experiences, that impacted things and slowed things a little bit. But all else equal, I'd agree. The more information, the better. But maybe they're waiting until there's a more defined plan. There's so many different areas to test and stuff. But still, I get where you're coming from, Trey, and I don't disagree. Makeshift player, how many stores does GameStop outright own versus lease? I don't know that number off the top of my head. But and that expect those leases. Yeah, so the leases were a big part. I saw a lot of people talking about leases in this Bear article. Yeah, that's not as much of a, and in fact, one thing that stood out to me in this Bear article was this line right here. Given the company's collapsing sales and flimsy balance sheet, the stock is sharply overvalued. Didn't we spend like a shitload of time on Wednesday of me talking about the strength of the balance sheet? I think this came out after too. Yeah, did it come out the next day? It had to, right? September 10th. And I remember thinking, what the flimsy balance sheet? This is not a bad balance sheet at all. But then part of it had to do with the leases, and I think that is way overblown. So, but anyway, I don't know that breakdown of own versus lease. But importantly, they're short-term leases. The leases that they do have are short-term, and they can get out of them. So they're closing those stores, some of those stores. And so the leases are less of a concern with a company like GameStop because they're shorter term. If you get like 10-year leases, it's a little bit more of an issue. But with GameStop, not as much. Saring called and says, esports is rising. If GameStop can be a place where you can watch major tournament for future, then it's never going to go anywhere. Also, GameStop doesn't even sell any gaming computer. Huge potential. I agree. So there's a couple things. So I agree. I couldn't agree with you more, Saring. Cheers. That's a good point. Here's what GameStop has to do. So again, I keep bringing this damn thing up because it's so relevant. They're focusing on these two right here. But here is the future of GameStop. This is the most important narrative. I mentioned this in my video too, right? This is a two-pronged thesis that I think a lot of folks are getting wrong. Like this article seems to miss it, and when people are talking about that GameStop thesis, I think it's a mistake. Like there's two aspects to it. There's the legacy business, right? And everyone's focused on this legacy business, and to a degree, justifiably so. I get it. But like, there's this other huge potential, which is what Searing's talking about, is like the esports, and like they could be the cultural hub of gaming. Right now, it's just words in a PDF. It's just words in a presentation. But you can entertain the idea, like Searing is here, that that it could be this, and I included that. I forget the website, but where they teamed up with the Dallas Cowboys. Like they could, and there's other esports arenas out there, but like GameStop could be a more central player in these types of areas where. There's any number of ways they could go, but the point being, whatever it is, we don't need to nail it down during the stream, but they need to explain how they can carve out a niche so that they can grow alongside the industry, whatever the hell that is. And Saren gave it could be related to esports, could be tied into tournament, could be tied into in-store experiences. They team up with vendors, give early exclusive looks. Maybe it's a vendor, it's a subscription model. It doesn't matter what it is, right? We just need to talk about the possibility. Because if there's something there, maybe it's a combination of everything. But if there is something there, maybe it's a little bit of a smaller business. But if they start growing with gaming, remember gaming's crushing it. It's like 150 billion right now. They're already forecasting 200 billion in just a couple of years. So I think part of the issue is people don't know what it is, what GameStop would look like. Whereas I and maybe some of the folks here, we're just betting on the possibility, the weighted average possibility that they can pull something off. And in the market right now is assigning a 0% probability, or as I like to say, a negative 20% probability. Where's that short interest? You know, like they're assigning like there's no way they pull it off, and I think what you can't. And now this is why it's good. If nothing else, it's why it's good. Ryan Cohen took a stake because, and I've said this to the stream. Isn't it nice to know you're not totally crazy? Aren't you just? So I'm sure there's value investors here, right? Value investors, like you'll get invested in a stock. You're always too early. And then you're just sitting there, and especially if you're an individual investor, where do you get support? That's like part of the stream. We can at least chat. We can commiserate together as this, commiserate with our drinks, and we can think all right and think our thesis is accurate. But the only this is what do they call it? Resulting. Like you need the result to work out in your favor before people actually buy in. Oh yeah, there was legitimacy there. But in the meantime, you kind of just, you can believe you're right. You can have that conviction. But at the same time, I don't know if everyone else is like this. You think you're a little bit crazy. And this is why it was good for me personally when Bari got involved, because I was thinking I was crazy up to that point. In fact, I thought I got it wrong because that week before he filed a year ago, he had noted, or it was disclosed that he had closed out of his position at the end of the month, at the end of June. I'm like, oh shit, did I really miss, did I get this wrong? And then a week later he wrote his letter. So I'm like, all right, that's comforting. And then as the story has unfolded, as I keep on saying, it keeps on unfolding in favor of the Bulls, if you ask me. I mean, I see the bearish articles out, I see it, but based on my analysis, which is different from other people's, like I think it's like, oh, it's unfolding according to plan, according to Bari's plan, according to how I think it should unfold. But at the same time, the stock price isn't going anywhere. Right? It's like, oh, like I knew I don't want. All right, it's unfolding positively. Then it comes down. Then we had the pandemic. That's kind of impacted things a bit. Although I wonder how much. Aren't you curious? Like those alternative histories, where. Oh, I'm not going to spoil anything. I saw Tenet today. I'm not going to say anything about Tenet. I'm not going to spoil shit for anybody because it sucks when people spoil movies for you. But anyway, I saw Tenet today. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, alternative histories doesn't even have to do with Tenet. Has nothing to do with it. But the idea of this history is everyone's seen the trailer. You've seen the trailer for Tenet, right? But where I'm curious as to what GameStop would have done. Now I'm like really nervous that someone's gonna say, "Hey, shut up about Tenet, Ryan." I'm like really nervous. With some of my friends too, we got like really careful that you can't ruin anything. But this alternative history, what would GameStop have looked like if not for the pandemic? Maybe it would have been down. Maybe it could have been up. I'm not really sure. Regardless, that's not the point. My point is that the fundamentals all along the way, even in the face of the pandemic, it still continued to unfold what I felt in favor of the bull thesis. So then I'm forced to think in even July and August. I mentioned how I was adding. I'm like below $4 in July. What? They just completed the bond exchange. And I have no choice but to add. I'm like I have to add because I'm either a raving lunatic and I'm wrong and we're all wrong and I'm crazy, or I'm right. But we still don't know because the price isn't doing anything. So I still feel like you have this nagging concern that you're on the wrong side of the trade, that you've missed something, that you've analyzed. That's why I appreciate these comments and the feedback. I appreciate the bear articles because you're in a perpetual state of worry that you've missed something and you got it wrong, and so you do your best to uncover everything. Anyway, I ramble. What I'm trying to get at is once Ryan Cohen took a stake too, then this second aspect of, like, I felt pretty confident about this side of the thesis. These two here. Let me about these two. About these two. I felt pretty confident about these two. But I was less confident about this one, right? I think that's the case with most. Well, this is the thing. I'm kind of surprised by there's some bears who don't even think GameStop will generate free cash flow next year. I'm like really surprised by that because I'm not 100% sure. I included in my video too a little confidence bar to try to assess my level of confidence. I'm not 100% sure they're going to generate some free cash flows, but I'm pretty damn sure. So I felt pretty good about this one. But then the big upside with GameStop is these two. And I'm like, I'm not really sure about this. I'm not an expert on this. I think I even said that in one of my videos where I'm like, when I'm doing my models, I try not to assign too high of a probability to these types of items, not just with GameStop, but with a lot of the stocks I analyze, because I'm like, I'm out of my element. I have no idea. I'm not an expert on the gaming industry and this type of business model, how they would reinvent themselves. I can see and envision the opportunity and the potential there. I get it. But when I have to assign a probability to it, I'm like, shit. So anyway. So this summer, I'm like, all right, keep on adding. But at the same time, I'm pulling the trigger, and I'm like, as many folks have been like, it's so painful to hit the trigger. And it hasn't worked out, by the way. Hell, GameStop could be back at $4 next week, right? But when Ryan Cohen took the stake, and then we did the research on the live stream, you may even see my reaction on that live stream. I'm like, oh shit, this looks good. Because he, to a degree, substantiated this part of the thesis for me. And that's why I was saying during the streams, like I was as bullish as I've been on GameStop, because this has increased my probability of that upside. You know what I mean? Even though all he did was take a stake, because he seems to have a good he has a finger on the pulse of what's needed to succeed in e-commerce, in that customer experience. Trey was talking about the importance of satisfying customers and employees and all this. Like, Ryan seems to get it in my experience. So for someone like, and you read all the articles and stuff, you got to read them. If you're long GameStop, if you haven't read them yet, you're missing out, because it's laughably similar. Oh, check out my Twitter too. On the Twitter, I think I pinned it, but like I commented on this too. Just replace pet with game. It's the same damn thing. It's like laughably similar. So I don't know what his plan is, but I didn't care because I was just so relieved like they talk about the 4 stages of like of anything, right? Of what is it? 4 stages or whatever it is. Like you're like I can't remember what the hell it is. But then you get like it's the 4 stages of a lot of things, right? The business cycle and all this other stuff. But there's one phase of investing where the phase is relief. And it hasn't even worked out yet, but there's a little bit of relief, not because the investment has succeeded, not because it succeeded or you made profits or whatever, but because you're not batshit crazy. And again, even though it hasn't worked out yet, believe me, you have to take my word for it. When you're pulling the trigger during these really dark times, when it's pulling back and everyone, and then only the bears are so pervasive at these times. Even right now they seem to be taking victory laps, which I think is funny because GameStop's up 50% from the first GameStop video that I uploaded. I think it was below 4 when I made that first video. I wanted to do it when it was still into 4, but I just missed it by like a day or two. But anyway, the chart still looks really good. Like it's still above $6 by the end of the week. So I think it's funny when the bears are like. Some of them, right? Not all. A lot of people are just having a laugh, but they seem to be like, oh, yeah, the Bears are definitely right about this. I'm like, it looks like it's not shaping up that way. But anyway, so when Cohen took that stake, I felt a little bit of relief just because it's a relief to not be totally batshit crazy about this stuff. But you never know. It could be, what if Ryan Cohen didn't take a stake? And GameStop still might not work out, but at least you'll have that. That's why I was happy Barry took the stake too, because it's a tough life. It's a tough life to live as a value investor where you're just struggling through. This is why they always say there's an edge to this because no one else wants to do it. You get it, right? But still, nevertheless. But so Ryan Cohen taking a stake was important. Oh, now I just rambled for so long. Now I need a drink, huh? Sorry, I got to catch up to this stuff. Let's see. What do we got? Good comments. Oh, I'm way behind. Shit. Okay, Saring. Oh, nice comment there. That got us going. Trey agreed with Saring there. They need to get into the PC gaming market. Yes, so that too, in the peripherals. Besides the current peripherals they offer, they should compete with Best Buy by offering PC components. So I suspect that they are going to do it. Didn't they mention in the conference call too? They're getting more into that. In that's it's green shoots for them. Like there's a lot of upside potential there. So I agree with Trey and Saring that that's another opportunity for them. You know what I mean? No one's saying the bet on GameStop is opportunity. There's all these different opportunities. That's why it's so risky to take the opposite side because you're betting against every single one. And that management is totally foolish and going to waste all of their cash and all that stuff. But so good point about the PC gaming. I think there's something legitimate there as well. And they're just getting started. Yeah, same thing with the e-commerce. Like they're just getting started on a lot of fronts. And for some people, that's a criticism. Oh, they should have already been doing this already. Fair point. But a lot of opportunity there. I think those tend to be higher margin products too. I think they said that on the conference call as well. And then Hugo, what else did Trey say? I'm surprised that we're getting support of $6 right now. Honestly, with 108% short and 118% short interest, that's good news. So I agree, right? So this is I agree with Trey. Trey's saying, hey, there's 118% short interest. I can't believe we're staying at 6. Neither can I. This is why I said in that on the whatever my recent, what did I say? Check out one of my tweets here. What the heck? Because I forget. Oh, this one. Right, this tweet right here. Check this out. This is important because I was listing. This stuff matters. So this is the technical analyst. This is me trying to do some technical analysis. I don't want to go through the items right now. I'm just bringing this up. You can check it out. But like there's all these different technical items that look really good. It was up. I had a strong 2 weeks ago, right? Not as strong this week. Made a new 52-week high. I was overbought for the first time since 2013. Golden Cross. Hey, someone just got a notification. I just got a notification. It was someone on the stream. That's pretty funny. Golden Cross. Breaking through the 200-day. I'll look at these items. Doesn't matter. There was an upgrade. Chewy updated a stake. New consoles 2 months away. Currently short interest 150%. So you have all these bullish factors. And so my take is that you probably get a more bullish take on whatever the heck earnings were going to be. Now it turned out it wasn't as bullish. There wasn't that big aha that was released. But nevertheless, this is why I included in the video $6 level for support, because this is the type of stuff when you have all these bullish things going for it. Okay, so I'm a fundamentals focused investor, right? But this is why I lean more. I consider technicals more. I look at them more often because it seems based on the technicals, the sentiment is changing. The sentiment. Can I do this? I can't point. It seems as though the sentiment is changing, and when you have more of this, you have like a bullish bent to you. Then it does a little bit of to a degree rose-colored glasses. So even though there's super heavy short interest, this is what I mean. It was super heavy short interest. People were knocking the quarterly earnings, even though we didn't think it was that bad. Remember we went through on Wednesday, and it still held at 6. Now, part of that is probably because it straight up wasn't that bad of a quarter. I don't understand how people thought this was a really terrible quarter. It could have been like so much worse. And you needed it to be so much worse if you're this short. But anyway, to Trey's point, at 120% short interest, there was you had a lot of opportunity to drive this price down. And like I said, I think short interest rose. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure because of this. Because this is as of August. This was as of August 31st. By the way, heads up. This was as of August 31st. So I don't really know exactly what it did the past couple weeks. I think it rose, but that data is a little bit less clear. But I heard some rumblings that it sounds like it rose, but I don't know. But like you needed it to. This was your chance. What are you banking on now? Is that the price is just like maybe people think it's going to fall back down to 4 and 5? I'm not so sure. You got a buyer in Ryan Cohen at that $5 range. So I don't know, but you had this bullish backdrop, and that stuff matters because you hold up. It holds up okay, but we got to see next week. We need the passage of time. You need to substantiate a thesis with fundamental events naturally, right? But also with the passage of time, and that's at least what the technical analyst books say. So maybe some folks don't give a shit about technical analysis. That's fair. I mean, I get it, but as the years have passed, I've looked at it more and more. But as you can tell from the videos, I'm a fundamental, as value investors, though, if everyone's there as a value investor, right, you get started in, like, technical analysis is voodoo, right? You think it's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's silly, and you can't really consider it. And that's what Buffett always says, too. And maybe these are experiments as far as I'm concerned, but I got to say, the more I've been, looking at it, I'm like, all right, you at least need to take a peek at it and take it into consideration. And so now the me of today is, kind of rolls eyes at the me of 10 years ago. But anyway, now I'm rambling again. My bad. But good point, Trey. I agree. That short interest is so heavy that how we're still at 6. We're above where we were. We're above where we were. There you go. Where's that other chart? Here's the daily. Let me just keep them set. We're above where we were. We're up. We're up in September. So you saw the same thing. You saw the same thing last year. It was down, and the Bears were taking a victory. Where was it? Bears were taking a victory lap, and then it was higher 2 weeks later. We might get that now. We might not. I have no idea. We're just gonna keep watching stuff. But right now, that's why I think it's funny. We're up in September, and we're up, in fact, over the past 2 weeks. What is it? September 11th. It's 10 days. We're still up. So anyway, okay. Yeah, that's why aren't you? If you're short right now, aren't you nervous? Are there any shorts? Why would shorts? I hope shorts tune in to yell at me. Say, Vern Kitty, you're a lunatic. You're crazy. Here's this and that. But, yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, Trey. It's probably hedged. Some of these folks are hedged, no doubt about it. No, you got to be hedged, right? You got to be. Okay. And some of these folks, oh, no, never mind. Okay. Hugo, yeah, they need to get into esports, streaming and bets like a Game Nation. Yeah, well, that's an opportunity too. They need to get into esports, absolutely more, no doubt about that, right? Trey says if GameStop gets into PC gaming and competes on an entire level besides full electronic sales with gaming, PC and console at Best Buy, they can take more share of the market. Absolutely they can. And so again, in which Trey's saying, other people view that as a criticism of GameStop, whereas Trey's kind of been well, wait a second, what if they move in? What if they move into that? So this is why Trey's doing the right thing, and I think Ryan on the last stream too. You just need to entertain these possibilities, and it's important for this side of the thesis. You can just see that there's possible there, and again, even if it's only a 10 or 20% chance that they pull off this unique niche, that they can grow with the industry, then the upside could be, again, maybe it's only 20% chance, but the upside, if they succeeded, the old if this, then that, you ever take that logic in school? Then the upside could be enormous, but that's not the base case, right? It's just something you got to take into consideration for your models. Okay, makeshift player. What if GameStop sells games and becomes a little gaming hub? Host a computer type of environment, maybe advertise it as a test before you buy. Yeah, they're talking about that, makeshift player. Check out those Tulsa stores, the old test. It's more social. You can test stuff before you buy stuff. What if they offer exclusives at their store? In theory, like a Best Buy and a Walmart could do that too, I suppose. But if GameStop were a place that people want to go to, you want to go test out the new game or the new consoles. Maybe they team up with Xbox or Sony or whatever it is to say, hey, can we give our customers a sneak peek? And then blah, 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 whatever the relationship is. But yeah, another opportunity. They have some, Trey said that. Thanks, Trey. They have some test stores in Tulsa, Oklahoma that are trying that. They just failed to expand it because previous management wanted to push more merchandise deals with ThinkGeek. Yeah, and again, so I think a lot of folks might be missing this. This is a new management team that has only been in place for around 18 months, okay? So all criticisms prior to 18 months ago, I feel, are somewhat unwarranted. I don't understand a new board, new management team for the most part, and so I don't think it's totally fair. It's just something something important to remember. And that's what Trey was getting at there. That's pretty interesting. Sounds like a fun time. Yeah, makeshift player. Check that out. It's in the latest GameStop video I did too. Right? There's an IGN article. Google IGN GameStop. You'll see it. It's a sick article. Props to IGN on that. As anyone who's long GameStop has seen, it's a good article that talks about the story. You don't have too many articles like that. That all the damn GameStop articles out there are ripping the company to shreds, which feeds the narrative. You know what I'm talking about? Did I say it in one of my videos where? It's like everything you see out there is just so negative about GameStop that I think it weighs on people, weighs on sentiment. Forget even the security analysis, even the traditional bearish security analysis take. Like, I just think it's weighing on people, and people just think GameStop, Blockbuster, boom, done. Discs, dead, boom. They're going to the wayside. Amazon, boom, competition. It's like, and then that's the end of the discussion, and like so few people are willing to look under the hood, and I think it's really heavy. And you don't need to take my word for it. You just need to look at the damn chart. It's like laughable. And I think a big part of this is that the negative sentiment around it, and of course the short interest. You see that too. It's reflected there as well. That's why it's so important to change the narrative. But you know the best way to change the narrative? Success. Like to actually accomplish what you're trying to do. But it would just be helpful to get that ball running early. So just talk about it, I think would be helpful. Okay. Look up Trey Daniel. Look up Esports Arena. They have some like that in Walmart. So yeah, we did that during the stream. They have some Esports Arenas. Walmart was testing that too. But again, the pandemic's impacting that as well. So just something for everyone to bear in mind that stuff probably pump the brakes a little bit right now. But maybe it's opening back up or in the near term future. But that's what GameStop should do, plus sell games. Can you imagine? So I said that in that GameStop video too, that what if they have all these arenas, right? Even if there's only a handful of arenas around the world, okay? And then, but like it's the GameStop arena, okay? And it's like people will want to go there. In theory, and it's conceivable that people could want to go there. And it's a place you could get the GameStop stuff, right? The traditional GameStop merchandise, consoles and games, whatever the hell it is. But then you could also game there. You could live stream, right? People with their streams could actually, or compete there and just hang out. Right, so I agree with you. That's what Trey's saying. Like people could do that, and GameStop should do that. And I suspect you could see that partnership with the Dallas Cowboys. They are doing that, but there's a lot more room to go. Yeah, so there's more opportunity. We're doing a good job listing all these opportunities. Stephen Hussey. I think problem is perception. Investors think, perhaps fairly, there's too much competition. Amazon, Best Buy, Target, digital, etc. makes it hard for people to believe GME can still thrive. So spot on, Stephen. Right? I mean. And perception is important. Perception is important. I know value investors, the value is going to win out and all this stuff. And typically it does, but perceptions are important. The narrative is important. And what Steven's saying is like, these are the stuffs that's weighing on people's minds, perhaps fairly. And I agree, like to some degree. I'm not saying there's, not that Steven's suggesting this. No, I don't think any of us on this stream would. We're not saying that there's no bear case against GameStop or that they're definitely going to succeed. But there's a potential for that. But with perceptions about GameStop so negative, it's really hard for people to buy into that. And so it's important, like what Steven's talking about, to kind of change to kind of to talk more about that. And they do it a little bit on this conference call because the competition side of things, how it could be a unique experience shopping at GameStop and stuff. But yeah, the perceptions, the narratives, the stories and stuff. And that's the thing. So a lot of people saying this management team can't do it. It seems to me that they could be doing potentially a better job about it. Of trying to change those perceptions. Steven's talking about it. Maybe someone like Ryan Cohen. We have no idea what Ryan Cohen's going to do. We have no idea. He may not even talk about it, but if he did get involved, that could help change those perceptions. But if not, like the management team has to step up, and it could, like I was saying before, it's too early to like outright criticize them for all the stuff they say on the conference call. This stuff takes time to make these moves, to be able to talk about them. It just takes time. But I'm with you, Steven. Like they need to change that perception, like I was saying, within 3 to 6 months. If they don't do it fundamentally with much higher free cash flows, which I think that's going to help. I think it will. But they need to talk this stuff up more and talk down the competition. Here's how we're going to come at them. Here's how we're going to take on Amazon. Here's how we're going to take on Best Buy. Maybe not by name, but be more outspoken about it. Whereas during the conference calls, I kind of just feel like it's more, I don't know. I feel like y'all know what I'm talking about. It's more just like managerial speak, and I just think this could be sick. This could be sick. Like even the ideas many of you were sharing during the stream are good. Like we could toss y'all on the call, and you could be talking it up, being like GameStop would do this, GameStop would do that. Maybe we don't pull it off, but maybe we could. You need to get on board right now. This rocket ship's taking off. Maybe not like that. All right, but you get what I'm saying, and I think that's what a lot of folks here are saying. Makeshift player, yes, stuff like this. I also like how they host the tournaments too. GameStop can make it a tournament pot and purely take a rake from it. Yeah, they absolutely could. I think they need to get more people playing in stores, in arenas or whatever it is. You need people to want to go there. You need employees to want to work there. You want the customers to want to shop there. You need to make it cooler. And they have to do that. And one way is, have some tournaments in the store, any in-store experiences that kind of just more than they're doing right now. And again, I think it's in the works. It's not lost on management. I think when I hear not so much comments during the stream, but I read comments elsewhere, I think people get irritated because it's just taken a while. And I can't stress this enough. They haven't even been there 18 months, some of them. So it's like, got to give it a little bit of time. This is why for GameStop, I say, GameStop, you got to be a long-term investor in this one. You just got to pull the trigger. This isn't a recommendation, of course, right? But if you are long GameStop, just do it. You got to just sit back, grab your beer, just chill. Be like, all right, I weighed the probabilities. Now go figure it out. Don't be watching every intraday move or every week's move or every quarterly earnings call. Like, this shit takes time. We won't know if they're going to succeed until a while for now, at least for that major upside. We won't know for 2 years, 3 years until it's... But that's the thing. And I say this in one of the videos. GameStop has so many unique things about it, though, that I could imagine it happening quickly, even though that's not my base case. But I could imagine sentiment turning boom like that. It almost did. I mean, it did a little bit. Look at this. It doubled in a couple months just because Ryan Cohen filed a 13D. Ain't shit else happened. And then we have a conference call, and then it's like it's still up 50%. You know what I mean? So short interest can impact that as well. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe it could happen quick. Okay. Trey said GameStop used to have little tournaments at the midnight releases, but they never took real advantage of those, even though they were really popular. Yeah, so let's hope they mix things up. A new management team, we got new consoles. This is why the console refresh is so important. I said this so many times. It's not just for the increased free cash flows, which are, hugely important, right? But it's also because this is an opportunity to re-engage with the customers, re-engage with them. What do you want? What do you want to do at the store? What if we offer you a package deal or unique unique experiences in store, whatever it is, like you got to interact with them. This is the opportunity that I don't think that they'll miss, but they're preparing for it. This is what, like we said, this is why they got to get that. This is why the app's got to be good. App's got to be sick by November. You got to have everything ready to run. You got to have your website sick. It's got to be dope. You got to be. It's got to be clean. It's got to be. There's got to be no errors. I mean, some errors, right? I don't mean perfection, but I just mean this basic stuff. You can't be messing around tweaking this stuff in December, January, and February. You can't be messing around with that. You only get a company like GameStop, as bullish as I am, you only get one chance. You only get one chance at re-engaging with the customers, like serious re-engagement, and that's this new console cycle. I don't mean so much just those first 2 months, but I mean these 6 months, 12 months. You got to get it right. You got to get the test right, the re-engagement right, and so they got to take care of this stuff right now. But even I was like, it's September. Can we get a little bit more of this? Just a little bit. But nevertheless, just something. So this is the opportunity of these consoles. So that's the important thing that I think a lot of bears are missing for this catalyst of the consoles. I think, a couple extra quarter. This is why I call GameStop a roach, right? It's such a weird. I got my cigar butt. Oh, I do. I got it right. It's not just a cigar butt, right? It's a roach. And it's a joke, right? But to a degree, there's some truth there because they might get those creative juices. They might get those creative juices flowing to give them the right ideas to how they should reshape themselves. Right now, they just have ideas. We just have opportunity, but then they need to execute. And their interactions with the customers will help inform what the best path might be, or maybe a couple best paths. You don't want to nail yourself down to one path. All right. Oh, I gotta catch up. I think I'm catching up. Okay. Okay. Oh man, I'm way behind. Okay, I got Stephen Hussey. Okay. Trey, Makeshift. Cheers, Ming. Welcome back, Ming. What if Ryan Cohen sold? He could, but I think it's highly unlikely Ryan Cohen. He could. Keep an eye out for the 13Ds. I reserve the right to be wrong and to change my opinion, as you should too. That's security analysis for you. You do not have to hold yourself firm to any thesis whatsoever. what's the as the old adage goes, you're welcome to change your opinion when the facts change, right? Whoever said that, I don't remember. So lots of people probably said that. When the facts change, I'll change my mind. If Ryan Cohen sold, well, let's discuss it in the next stream, because that's gonna have an impact on, like I said, Ryan Cohen just getting involved. It changed my model on that upside possibility. So if he sold, then I would change it on the downside. But I consider that being highly unlikely. If you check out this shit and read this stuff, he doesn't seem like the type of person who's getting in it for a 50% move. Plus, he took a 10% stake. That's not easy to get out of. Although there's been so much damn volume. Anyway, Ming, highly unlikely. That's all I got to say about that. Look at all this. This was good volume. So I think they're in the black. Was there 15? What's the date today? The 11th? There was 15 million shares. Oh, because it was following earnings. Look at all this volume. If someone were planning something, and it's not my base case, I don't think it's likely, but if Ryan Cohen were planning on buying more, I think the company's probably in a blackout period, so I don't think they could have been. If they had a 10b5-1, I think they could have been buying back these shares, but I don't know how to figure that out if they have one. But I think it's possible, but I don't think they did anyway. So I think they're black up here. But look at all this volume. Like, if someone wanted to make a move, either buy more shares, eat up all that float, buy back the shares if you're the company, you could do it. This is what all this is. Another, we talk about the opportunity on the business front. This is something. I got something to say about this. This is an opportunity, right? This right here, this short interest. This is an opportunity of the 120% short interest. Now, the short squeeze, all that stuff isn't a major part of the thesis. It's something you need to take into consideration. It's serious. When it was 50-60%, I didn't even really faze me all that much. I was worried that I was kind of wrong about stuff, because short interest, that usually I'm like, they're probably right. But 120%, this is like a once in a. Has anyone seen this? Oh, I got to catch up. I'm asking you questions, and then I go on. I rant for I ran for 15 minutes. By the time I catch up to you responding to me, I got to figure out how best to do this. We should get everyone a microphone. We can all just yell into the microphone, yelling about GameStop. Okay, but this is like a once in a. This is a very rare opportunity, and it seems crazy to me that you get a short interest up this high with this many activists, investors, in a company who's kind of gung-ho about turning shit around, and then you get Ryan Cohen getting involved. It seems crazy to me that this opportunity of I don't mean like some huge short squeeze, but I just mean that the shorts get scared and have to close their shorts positions quickly for one reason or another, either by way of buybacks or management dropping huge news or something like that. Doesn't that seem like just a crazy opportunity that would be missed by the marketplace, by activist investors watching what's unfolding, or the company itself? It just seems like someone would be like, this is insane. This is a huge opportunity because it's so heavily shorted. There's more volume. We could buy back more shares, or an activist could discreetly buy back more shares, or whatever it is, or you could drop news on them. People have been talking about issuing shares at an inflated price. Highly unlikely they'll do that. But just to get the price higher, just so there'll be an optimistic bent in the company. It seems crazy to me that the short interest will just slowly fall back down to like what I consider a more reasonable level of like 30 or 40%. I just can't imagine. What's that old saying, the old efficient market hypothesis, where there's a dollar on the ground. It can't really be a dollar on the ground, because that just wouldn't make any sense. But I'm like, I kind of feel like there's a couple of dollars on the ground here. Maybe it's $100 bill on the ground. And everyone's like, nah, that's not possible. And then I'm like, it seems like it could be possible if you just, I don't know. It just, maybe nothing's going to happen. It just seems too much of a crazy historic opportunity to take advantage of. I don't even know how it could be taken advantage of. I don't know. It just seems weird that it would just come back down and be it. But I'm totally, this is pure speculation. Got a beer, Friday night, kicking back, just shooting the shit of like, doesn't that seem weird that anyway. I was just thinking about that more today, because that came out today, right? Was it today? I think it came out today. And I'm like, 120%? What the F? Anyway. Okay, Hugo, I love playing games, and there was great potential for GameStop because there is not a company that combines all the Game Nation. I hope that Ryan Cohen had seen it. Probably, Hugo. I think he sees a lot of the similarities with Chewy, Stephen Hussey. Cohen stuff is definitely exciting for showing how many smart people see the potential here, as long as he's in it for the long haul. So I agree to that. So Stephen's echoing, or Stephen probably said it first, of what we were saying, like just Cohen getting involved kind of substantiates this thesis that there could be something there, and that's why it's exciting. I agree, Steve. I couldn't agree more, because, like I said, I didn't think it was particularly like it. I just can't, because I don't know enough about it. But I agree with you. Him getting involved is exciting because of that. Because And think of all what he could do. Saw what he did with Chewy, and he could do something similar. Maybe he's hands off. He could be totally hands off, but he could give some good guidance. Hey, this FYI, this worked at Chewy, and I know there's another Chewy gentleman on the board as well. But Steven, I would think that he's in it for the long haul. Is there a reason you might think he might not be in the long haul? You read this stuff, I can't imagine someone like him. Maybe he could, though. Can you imagine he's playing this for this is not my prediction, but could you imagine? This is what I want to talk about, a historic opportunity. Someone being like, some big, wealthy, like Carl Icahns being like, oh, I'm going to step in here. I'm going to cause the short squeeze myself. Get the hell out of my way. I'm going to make a shit ton of money. Damn you shorts. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I have no reason to think Ryan Cohen's anything like that. He's just a successful entrepreneur with Chewy. When I read his background, I think more he kind of likes the gaming story, sees a lot of similarities with Chewy, and he's like, all right, I can see this growing over 5-10 years if they play their cards right. But can you imagine if he's in for the short term? But if he weren't for the short term, then that's a knock against this thesis. Again, we don't know. Steven's just tossing some ideas out. This would be a knock against this way. If he sold out, like Ming said, if he sold out and Cohen said, if he just got out and all right, well, that's a knock against this one, but maybe it would be because of the squeeze or something. So, but I really don't think it's for a short-term play or something. And read about how he talks about a couple of his investments in Apple, and is it here? I don't even know if it's here. Do a Google of him and Apple and Wells Fargo. I think he's in it for the long haul. It's there somewhere. I forget. Searing called and says, just console cycle is going to be huge. Also, games like GTA 6 may be announced 2021 with COVID-19 on the loose. Parents will buy a new gaming console for kids to stay busy at home. Yeah, so I got you. So I said this in the video too. So people go, oh, forget GameStop and forget physical because everything's digital and all this stuff, right? It's like, yeah, but did you see, gaming itself is thriving, and this isn't so much a zero-sum game where just because someone might digital, no one no longer buys physical. I mean, sometimes that's the case. But gaming itself is crushing it because there's increased demand because of what's going on with the pandemic, more people staying home, more interest in gaming and so forth. That benefits all the gaming players. Maybe it's not benefiting GameStop as much because more people are downloading games, but it's still benefiting them. Year-over-year sales adjusted for the store closures only down 12% in the last year of a console cycle, right? It's like, that ain't shit. This was supposed to be way worse. I factored into my models a way worse. That's what I'm still not totally sure. I'm still not totally sure the current environment has been a net benefit to GameStop. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. 12% comp is really good. Remember what they did last in Q4 of 2019? It was a huge drop year over year, over 20%, which was a rough quarter, right? And I know this is lumpy too. You can't group GameStop into just one quarter's performance. But anyway, it was only down 12%. And then they had supply issues supply disruptions. They didn't do trade-ins for a while. They couldn't even open their stores, but that year-over-year comp is adjusted for the store closures. But they kind of got hit this quarter. So people were saying, how come GameStop didn't benefit as much with with gaming thriving? It's they literally had to close their stores, and some of their competitors did not, which was really weird to me. I found that just from a pure business standpoint, I'm like, huh? Why would I don't know. But anyway, these are things GameStop had to deal with, and maybe to a bit more than some of the other retailers did. But anyway, where was I going with that? I don't even remember. But so anyway, yeah, gaming there's a lot of interest in gaming right now, and that would help. Should help GameStop, especially in the next console cycle. And so it's going to help them more too with this. I mean, it's kind of fascinating timing with you got everything happening here, and now we're gonna have new consoles too. There's gonna be it could be way more demand than they had at the start of the last console cycle, just because of all this, right? I mean, that's what Searing's getting at here. At the same time, there could be supply issues too. Who knows how these are all gonna be allocated among the retailers and stuff, and we don't totally know yet. But GameStop's definitely in a good position. I think going into this console refresh. What you drinking, mate? Today, I don't even remember what I got. So I got a beer today. I don't get that kitty one. Although if anyone knows any kitty bears, I just keep an eye out. I got a whole bunch of different beers up in the fridge, and I just grabbed one. I really don't even remember. We were watching. I told you I was watching we were just watching Sopranos. So we're having. Oh, you know what? We were watching Sopranos before. I was watching with my wife, and we had. I'm not gonna get the name right. Svia, one of those pastries. Svia Deli. Oh, I can't remember the name. But she picked it up. Svia Dali's, whatever it is. But we having one of those, and I zoned out when I was getting ready. It's not an IPA though. It's a lager. That much I can't remember what the name of it was. Usually what I do is I'll pick up a whole bunch of different ones, but I can't remember the name. But that cat one, I'm like, oh, this is cat one. That's why I'm like, all right, let me bring this one down and remember it. All right, Steven, but people may be over-relying on that instead of the fundamentals, i.e. stock being undervalued. So people may be over-relying on that. Oh, sorry, Steven. Cohen stuff is definitely exciting. Okay, so Steven was saying Cohen stuff definitely exciting, but people may be over-relying on that instead of the fundamentals, i.e. stock being undervalued compared to the free cash flow intrinsic price. So I agree with you, Steven. You know what? I do remember what this is. It's longboard beer. Everyone have the longboard beer? That I don't, because I don't think I've ever bought longboard before, but it's like a red. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the beer. Hopefully that's the name of the beer. Jeez, get the wrong beer. So I agree with you, Steven. So I think that this is part of the reason for the sell-off. I believe is that people got involved because of the whole Cohen thing, and then added to the whole short squeeze angle. But we all know if you're involved is that the fundamental case for the company because of the free cash flows and stuff. But I think this is temporary. This move is temporary. I think, as we say, value wins out over time. In that the value, assuming there is legitimate value here, it will be reflected in the price over time. But in this very short term, I agree, Steven. I think the Cohen stuff is exciting. It got people's attention, and what else did you say? And I think that fed into the short squeeze angle too. But that's the thing. So I was hoping, and it could still happen. It's still very early in this. They only announced earnings on Wednesday. I still think it was good news that he got involved, just because this chart, this technical analysis stuff, like it got them into this, what I consider this next level. Like I said, I mentioned the title. This between this $6 to $11 range. This is like this next level, and it got him into this point, and then they sold off after earnings, and they're right in this same spot. Like they're in a good place right now. So even though they got in for what was not the best long term. I don't know what I'm saying. I know what Steven gets it, but I agree. So, but I think my hope was that it's going to get people's attention, and then people are going to like dig deeper into the story, and they're going to go, well, wait a second, Barry's involved with this. Wait a second. Roaring Kitty's involved with this? No, I'm just kidding. But then people say, oh, they really actually were generating free cash flow and all this stuff, and oh yeah, they are turning their stuff around. Oh, they do have a new management team. Oh, they got a new board. Reggie's involved with this board. I was kind of hoping that it will get people talking about it, even though if that's the only reason they got involved. And what would happen? My thinking was, Steven, and then the people would start perceiving the fundamentals and they'd start to get it. But I think that will come in time. I'm literally betting on it. I think many GameStop, or at least the longer-term GameStop investors, are literally betting on the perceptions. This is how value investing works. This is just how it works. It happens. This is how it's worked out for me so many times, where you feel as confident as you can in the play. Like, all right, the value's here. I get the intrinsic value. It's here. I see it. You just need to wait for it to be reflected in the actual price. And you hope there are some short-term catalysts that get people's attention. That's why the Ryan Cohen thing I thought was good. But so let's see what happens from here, Steven. Let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks, because even if that's the only reason they got involved, I think it will get people talking, and we'll get closer to the consoles. I think it'll work. It'll work together. Okay, Terry Daniel, I'd like to see them partner with Game Battles, but they're partnering with Activision. Not sure how all that relationship would work. I'm not sure about all the relationships that they could do, or which one would be best. I don't know enough about that. I think Activision is betting too much on all digital with their offerings on games like Call of Duty, so it wouldn't make sense to partner with GameStop. That could be. Trey, you may know more about this than I do. Retro Digital. Cheers, Retro Digital. Welcome. Would be awesome if they could bundle physical with digital copies of the game. They legit might do that, right? I think that they might. Who knows? Who knows what bundles they could. They're going to have a whole bunch of types of bundles. They could. I think that they will. So combine physical with digital copies of the game. Yeah, that's a unique one. Yeah. Really, any bundles that can drive foot traffic and all that. But so does anyone else think that? I gotta catch up. I'm wondering if everyone else thinks that would be awesome. Yeah, it's just another bundle that they could do. But I wonder how impactful that would be. Stephen Hussey, huge console buzz would lift all boats though. If PS5 pre-orders sales smash it all over the holidays, which I think it is possible, it could boost GME anyway. That's been my play. I think so. I agree with you, Steven. This is the thing. Like I understood GameStop not popping earlier in the year, and then the pandemic happened. And I thought, all right, this is gonna be delayed because everyone had all these other investment opportunities. There was no need to kind of deal in GameStop. It has legitimate long-term risks, but also we were still months away from the console cycle, which isn't much for a long-term investor, but for more short-term minded folks. That's an eternity. But so I've been thinking as we got closer to the consoles, as we get the price points and the release dates and the more of a buzz, that I agree, even with no fundamental news, even if GameStop doesn't release any news, no updated filings from Cohen or any of that shit, that the sentiment would start to shift. It will kind of reach like like a fever pitch of people talking about it, and people will go, oh, how can I play that GameStop? How can I play the new console? What are my different opportunities to play it? And there's no better pure play than GameStop. There's other gaming companies out there, but there's no company that stands to benefit the most year over year than GameStop. So I've been thinking that people are going to do that, Steven. What surprises me and continues to surprise me is that we're still at, what's the market cap? That we're still below 400 million market cap in September. So I've definitely been wrong on that front. I thought that I feel like the buzz is here right now and it's picking up, but that damn short interest, I think those shorts are a little bit in control of shit right now. That this is why that and Steven was talking about the perceptions, and other folks were saying management needs to talk up these other things. Like, that's the thing we need to get there. I think it needs to happen a bit sooner, just so yeah, I don't know. I still think it's gonna happen. Like, if it's December and we're still below 400 million market cap, the thesis didn't work out quite as I had planned. I wouldn't say it's not broken. I mean, if we're at $6, it's not a failure, right? I mean, we're always trying to protect the downside, but it was always my thesis that you'd get the run up to a more reasonable reflection of fair value in these months leading up to the console cycle. But maybe the short interest is so heavy, investors actually need to see the performance. I didn't think that was the case. And that's what I'm trying to estimate now. Is that the case? Do they actually need to see the free cash flows from Q4 in Q1 of next year and Q2 of next year? That's a little bit weird because in my experience, the market sniffs this stuff out and gets ahead of it. Sometimes it's just the story and people go, consoles are coming out, let's buy it. And they don't really care too much about to Steven's point, that about people wanting they need to see the intrinsic value. Sometimes you don't even need to have actual intrinsic value, right? A lot of people know this, right? Maybe because value investors, you need to see that intrinsic value. Sometimes the intrinsic value don't matter. Your narrative can be so powerful and so damn compelling, all the other shit doesn't matter. Now, in GameStop's case, there is legitimate intrinsic value by my estimates, but I thought that some folks might not even care too much about it, that they're just like, I need a way to play gaming, which I think could be a huge tailwind that isn't being priced in by the shorts. Like, that's what I mean. If you're short and you're not scared, are you sober? Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. I don't know. You got to be like a robot, even if it's not actual robots. I'm making them joke, right? But you got to be really steadfast. Oh, because that's tough. Because even if let's say, I've said this on the stream before, let's say in theory, hypothetically, the terminal value were 0. I don't think it is, but even if it were, how could you be this confident in the short? Even if you get a temporary blip up, to 15 because sentiment suddenly changed, or suddenly people wanted value stocks. You know what I mean? Suddenly people just wanted those stocks. You're screwed. Maybe you're not screwed because you're hedged and all this, and maybe you can get out of it. But like, that's the thing. I don't know if they can get out of it. Maybe they can. But I'm ranting again. Okay, makeshift player trading on true digital profit margins are greater. Yep, margins are greater, but they're a little bit less of an edge for a GameStop. So you gotta weigh all these things. Trey said, I don't think it's necessarily about margins because Sony and Microsoft still get their cut either way. I just think it's because digital pre-orders lock you in so you can't cancel. Right. Oh, the digital pre-orders. Right. So that eats into GameStop's pre-orders. Right. I saw Sony was doing that. I assume Microsoft's doing it too. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much that impacts it. Again, I think if GameStop has the Power Up Rewards members, right? They have that going for it. But if they can offer additional things too, I don't know. Let's hope that they have some unique membership benefits by the time. Oh, I had some other things too. The same day delivery. If they get that same day delivery, the new app, and then other ways to pay for the things, other ways to pay for all the games and stuff, whether it's a payment plan, they can lease stuff, it's a subscription model, then you kind of, I don't think, many other people have said this. Sorry if you said this during the stream and I missed it, but then people are kind of like locked in a little bit with GameStop. Not because they can't get out of it, because they want to be. There's a benefit for them. And so that's something that even if they're still buying digital stuff via GameStop or whatever it is, maybe they can buy digital games through GameStop, but they're getting other benefits that they can get some accessories or whatever it is every month, or I don't even know, but they can still play, they can still participate. It's just a question of to what degree. Makeshift player, dude, I didn't really believe in TA until I met this crypto trader who hit price targets pretty often. Cool, okay, yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's the case with many styles out there. I find like a value investing to pretty much more reliable than a lot of other strategies out there. I view technical analysis more as a bolt-on skill set that facilitates my fundamentals focused investing. But I think I have some videos. I uploaded some videos about that because What I should do is I should upload some videos. Like I feel bad. Like I'm happy everyone's joining on the stream, but suppose you missed the stream. You can't sit in here for 3 hours. I sympathize. Like I feel like we should take some of this stuff and I should just put it into a video. So if you're curious about my take on stuff, not just on GameStop, but you could just pull up the damn video. Like right now, makeshift commenting on technical analysis. I have it in one of my videos, a more broader investment discussion, but I could just have a comment about technical analysis. But yeah, I view it more as like a bolt-on skill set for timing things. But my biggest critique, just quickly, just if I may. Hey, by the way, we're GameStop dominant. I mean, if I'm labeling the stream GameStop, I mean that's what we're gonna talk about. But we can talk about anything during the stream. Who cares? Who cares? But my biggest critique of technical analysis is I don't really have the number. This is why everything's a test. I don't know how reliable it is. I'm trying to use it more just to perform these tests. But my biggest critique is that I can never build a super high level, like a super big stake in a position with high level conviction based on the charts alone. And because of that, it's hard. Sometimes if you're right on a trade, you have really high probability that's going to work out. You kind of want to load up on that play, especially if there's like serious upside potential. Let's say 5-bagger potential. It is really how do you assign like a high level confidence on a 5-bagger potential based on the chart alone? You can't. But even if you say, oh, well, maybe it's the chart's breaking out to new highs, new all-time highs. But even still, you wouldn't think it would be a 5-bagger, nor would you. You could, but you wouldn't have the downside protection necessarily based on the chart alone. So you couldn't put a lot of capital into it. You could only put a small percentage. And for some people, this is a successful strategy. They do that. They just put a little bit of capital on each. From my strategy, when I see a unique opportunity, as I see with GameStop, as I've seen with GameStop, but with other plays too, I'll put more capital in it because as long as I feel as though my downside is protected, then I'm like, all right, let the upside take care of itself. And so I'm investing in GameStop when the chart looks terrible, when it's like getting crushed and stuff. And but I feel as though my downside is protected. But you can only do that with fundamental analysis. Technical analysis isn't going to help. You see this chart, technical analysis. You see this chart right here, right? This looks terrible. You assume it's going bankrupt, right? Well, if there's technical analysis or have greater experience than this with me, would anyone buy right here or a big position? Would any technical analyst buy a big position right here just to use GameStop as a quick case study? I don't think that they would. And if they did, I don't think they would be a very large position. But with the fundamental analysis, I can build this big position, and there's no victory laps to be taken, and it hasn't worked out. But in the past, when it does work out, that's when you make a good hunk of money, or it can boost your annualized returns to the degree that it makes the active investing worth it. That's my style of investing. Everyone has their own unique strategy. This isn't a recommendation that you should do this, but that's my personal critique of technical analysis, why I cannot lean on it exclusively, because it doesn't fit my style. All right, sorry. Trey, I only pre-ordered digital once for the Spider-Man PS4 game. That's only because it offered so much more than the physical version offered. Oh, interesting. The digital version offered more. Okay. Yeah, I wonder, Trey, I think you have more experience with this than me. See, my friends and family, they tend to download more. This is a weird. Oftentimes, people will say when you're trying to build an investment thesis, you'll talk to your family and your friends, and that will help inform your decision. For me, it's like the opposite. They're all downloading stuff and like, nah, that's a crazy thing. But you got to be careful how these inferences, right? This is why I spent a lot of time in my deeper dive videos, kind of seeing what other people are saying about it. So I appreciate, Trey, you sharing your thoughts here. That you said you only pre-ordered digital once. Maybe, I don't know. Let me keep trying to catch up. If pre-orders offer the same or more, then I always lean to physical copies. Yep, okay. I think there's not a better buying experience than GameStop, but they need to unleash a gauntlet of new store formats and great digital pre-ordering buying experience. Agree. Upside potential, right, Trey? Jordan St. Pierre. It just jumped ahead on me. Here we go. Jordan, I've never seen negative sentiment like this. It's crazy and insane. Don't mean to repeat this, but shorts ain't covering. Either way, they're right or we are. Either way, big price move coming. Same, Jordan. It's insane negative sentiment. And I think, it's the short interest is what I think is particularly insane. 120% short interest juxtaposed with my confidence. I know I said that in a tweet too. But I don't know. Yeah, Jordan seems convinced. Jordan, this stream is therapy for value investor. Therapy with beers. Awesome. Cheers to you. Cheers, Jordan. Hey, maybe we'll rename these streams Value Investor Therapy. free streams, free therapy for all of us. Like I was saying, yeah, commiserate. Oh, that's funny, Jordan. Trey, I wish I could just poke at management and see why they don't actually try something innovative. Too bad regular Joes can't get involved in earnings calls, etc. Yeah, I did try to get involved in the call in the past, and yeah, they just it's for analysts. It's for analysts. It's for analysts. But yeah, I know it'd be nice to ask some questions, but too, they're like they can only say certain things. Even sometimes they'll answer analysts like I can't get into this right now. I can't answer that or blah blah blah. So they need to. Like I just saying, Trey, like in theory, I could imagine me being asked a question if you put yourselves in their shoes and you asked a really good question, and I know it's maybe not in the company's best interest to answer it. And again, I don't think this is the case, but can you imagine be like, I kind of just want to release this news later down the line because I feel it could be impactful, or I don't want to speak too early. I don't want to nail ourselves down. You know what I mean? Just something to bear in mind, but I feel you, Trey. I feel you. Hyperbole Kid. Hey, welcome, Hyperbole Kid. Hey, man, on theme of perception, have you ever covered that Camelot 331 YouTuber releasing internal GME management team calls? Really bad PR. Just feeds the bear case. GME has to nip this stuff. I have seen it. I have seen it. I don't have much of it. It's not security analysis, right? So it's a little bit removed from what we do during this stream. But I agree. I see how many views. I see how many views that stuff gets. And so indeed, it's you wouldn't think that ain't helping the sentiment, right? That's not helping the narrative. I haven't seen all of them. I'm not super dialed into it. I know it exists. I see it out there. But I agree. It's I don't know if it's really bad PR. It's not helping things, right? Because who's watching the video? Customers of GameStop, right? So I do agree with you there, Hyperbole Kid. This is why, and some folks said this early in the stream, it's important to satisfy a lot of your stakeholders as best you can, the employees, the customers, and yeah. I imagine a lot of. I'll just say this. And imagine if a lot of this stuff happened to a lot of public companies. I don't know enough. You can imagine that. Like internal calls being released, I could imagine people having similar thoughts about other companies out there too. Not that I don't even know I don't even know all what was discussed on that stuff. I just know about like what Camelot does in those videos, but I don't know the details or anything like that. Maybe I should, but because it's not like a security analyst type channel that I'm not too dialed into it. But interesting. Makeshift player, Hyperbole Kid. This is true. I've heard many bad situations between employees and their managers. So I do mention though. I checked out the subreddit. So I see, even if I don't know those too many of the Camelot videos, I see the subreddit and I see things where I think, oh, that if accurate, I'm like, oh, if this is true, that's not necessarily a good thing for GameStop, because like I said, we can't stress this enough, the importance of making sure employees and customers are happy. Because it's not all about shareholders. It just isn't. That's not the best way. It's not the best way to run a business. And hopefully it's clear. It's not like shareholders have been. It's not like shareholders have been benefiting. At least in these 18 months, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for a lot of stakeholders. But when I see the subreddit and I see some of the commentary, I think, shit, that's not great to see that, because I remember when I first checked out the subreddit. This was a while back. I remember being like, this is a sick subreddit, because there's some folks on there really passionate about gaming, and some people, it does seem as though some people like kind of liked working at GameStop, or even the camaraderie of it, right? And I'm not saying everyone, but I saw enough where I thought, you know what, I wouldn't think that this would be too common on a subreddit for a company like this. I was kind of impressed. I'm like, wow, like my first take was I talk about a management team that cares, the employees care. And I was really fascinated by that, because I hadn't seen too much. Not that I do that type of analysis all that much, but I remember being, wow, this is kind of interesting. But then I seen some of the posts, and I'm like, some of the stuff is kind of negative, and I'm like, shit, it's not great to see. In my case, as a shareholder, but you're as a shareholder, I'm looking out for all the stakeholders. You know what I mean? Because all else equal, you want everyone to be a rising company tide. Well, what's the phrase Steven said? Carry all boats, whatever it is. So it's disappointing to see the negative stuff on that front. And again, if Camelot is echoing that stuff too, then the same would hold. But in that, like y'all are getting at, it's not helping with the narrative. The narrative isn't just about some of this upside potential. It's the whole narrative around the company. That stuff's important to change as well. Okay, let me just see. Oh, this is true. Trey Daniel, not saying he is really faking it, but it's odd. He's on conference calls that should only be reserved for qualified employees. I don't understand how that works. Was that a legit? I didn't listen to that whole thing. I saw that. I'm like, how did he get on conference calls for that? So I thought that was odd. That's all. I don't. Trey, but even if he's lying, it does lend to the negative narrative. Exactly. It does. It's not. It doesn't help. It doesn't help with the narrative. Jordan, Cohen is not trading this. I would be shocked. Oh yeah, he's I think replying to Steven. but he can cause a squeeze with a tender offer. But he ain't trading this 50 or 100%. No way. I agree, Jordan. I don't think. Oh, well, no, Steven wasn't really saying that. He was just tossing it out as long as he's in it for the long term. But to your point, Jordan, I do agree. I think he's in it. He's not in it for a 50 or 100% move. I don't think so. Yeah, tender. So I don't know. Yeah, would a tender? Again, I know it's not my base case, but if it did happen, could they call the shares? I don't know enough about it. I know a lot of people are saying they can't, and I suspect Justin is too in his article. But I'm not so sure how much Justin knows about it. Again, like I say, I don't know enough about it. I don't know how this works. The mechanics of the market, I don't know. I can't imagine being short, I'll tell you that much. How many times can I say that? Jeez. Trey, average investor should be able to at least weigh in other than voting on board members about different ideas, suggestions, what have you. The best you can do, I think, is you can email the investor relations department, but I think that's the extent of it. That's all that's extended to individual investors, unfortunately, these days. Maybe that will change in time. But, yeah. The reason GameStop had to close and its competitors... The reason GameStop is closed... Oh, I'm way behind. I apologize. Trey's talking about why they had to close and its competitors didn't. It's because other retailers offer PC components, etc. That was allowed because of demand for remote work. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, this is I suppose this is the bigger discussion, but I get that. Some PC components. And then you get into what exactly is, yeah, I mean, for work and stuff, and is gaming true? I mean, I see what you're saying, Trey. I know GameStop offers some PC components, but I assume Trey would say not enough for it to warrant. This is why GameStop had PC components and accessories. Oh, if they had it, then it would make more durable in these environments. I suppose. Yeah, I know that's a part of it is because it was work-related and stuff. But, yeah, it's not so much I disagree. It's, I could see, yeah, it's messy, right? It's not clean. You talk about security analysts, things want black and white. Talk about this environment, huh? Shit ain't black and white. It ain't. There's a lot of gray area, a lot of room for interpretation. But all we can say is that it was something that it impacted GameStop more adversely than some of its competitors. So the only thing I'd say is that in the context of this quarterly release, for those folks who are reading it and thinking, oh, this is a much worse quarter than I expected, take that into consideration as well. Okay, Trey, people are definitely getting involved because Rory and Kitty is involved. Hey, sorry, Trey. I'm catching up. Cheers, Trey. Cheers. They're definitely getting involved, right? Yeah, there's your bold thesis right there. Move over Burry. Move over Hester Permit. Move over Cohen. We have a Roy and Kitty. That's a riot. Okay, makeshift player. Not going to lie. I got involved with GME because the bigger investors, but I've always had an interest in them and had some of their shares at $17. Kind of yikes there right there. Yeah, well, the bigger investors getting involved is it gets people's attention. It can be a good thing too. They're not always right. Big investors get shit wrong, but it's good to see. And if you're a value investor too, it's nice to have the company, as I always say, the company of respected investors whom you respect. And even analysts, even folks on here or folks on Seeking Alpha or folks on Twitter, wherever the hell it is, if you have tracked them for a while, I talk about the importance of tracking so you can calibrate the quality of their analysis. But if you respect them and you say they're involved with the stock too, that gives you comfort. So no harm, no foul, makeshift player, right? I look at Whale Wisdom every time the funds file at the end of the quarter. I'm looking at that. I mean, I'm a nobody, right? But the other funds out there, I assume they're looking too. Everyone's looking. So I think a lot of people might get involved or it might get their attention because folks get involved. And in my case, it's bullish in my case because I assume a lot of us do. I respect Burry quite a bit, and especially with deep value deals, we have a lot of overlap. So yeah, I really like to see that too. I've been tracking GameStop as many people have for a long time. And I've already said this too. I thought Burry got involved a little bit earlier. I was long GameStop way back when too, but this time around I was a little bit nervous, and so you got to be careful. Sometimes a big investor will get involved, then the price starts to drop. I got a little bit lucky in dragging my feet. I always talk about dragging my feet. I dragged my feet a little bit, but then it still ain't done shit for a long time, so it's not like I was a huge benefit. Okay, Jordan St. Pierre. Year-over-year comps are going to be insane. No one talks about this. So important. Worst year to this year. I agree. In a while, it means stock should really fly. Well, it depends how much they weigh. I agree. Jordan. So the year-over-year comps, great point. The great point. Everyone's like, oh, year-over-year comps, so bad. But some people, I think it's going to persist. I don't understand. How can you not think that you're going to have positive year-over-year comps next year? It's insane to me. I see some forecasts where they're forecasting revenues will be down, like the first 12 months of the console cycle, that they're like, I'm like, what? How? Maybe GameStop's not going to be as big as it was back then, but this is going to drive traffic too and the switch too. Like, I just think I can't take that seriously. But then the year-over-year. So anyway, what I'm getting at, sorry. Remember, they've been reining in all their costs. And so all these costs that they got, these lower costs that they're working with now, it's going to be a windfall of free cash flows, I think. You talk about, you compare, like, you see this in the energy sector too, in the material sector with gold miners and everything, where they spend years getting their ass kicked and they have to cut costs to survive. And then all of a sudden things are in their favor, and then it's just windfall gains, windfall profits, because they got their costs down so tight. And now in the case of gold miners, just as an example, as gold price rises, that every extra increase is just flowing through for the most part, right? That's operating leverage. So the same with GameStop. I think they're going to generate a shit ton of free cash flows, because I think it gets missed on folks. There's a new management team, and they're spending this 12 months not talking about the super sexy stuff as much as we want them to, but they're taking care of this basic shit to get those costs down, to get improved working capital management. Make sure that they get increased free cash flows from Q4 on. They need to be sure about that. So I'm kind of surprised that more people don't talk that stuff up, Jordan. And then to your point, and then these increased free cash flows, of course, will lead to major year-over-year comps. And I got to say, Jordan, you may be right where that stuff may matter more. I feel like you talk about a couple of things that gets investors' attention. Things like, there's only a couple of things like, did they beat? Which I think is a silly one, right? But that stuff matters. Did they beat? Not all. I mean, it's not always just because you know they beat or didn't beat. You don't know how the stock price is going to react, right? And hopefully most people know that. But even still, people are paying attention to that. Things like upgrades and downgrades matter, but year-over-year comps matter. So I agree, Jordan. That could be. But the thing, I still think the market sniffs this stuff out. This is why it's September now. When are people going to come around to that? It's possible we're wrong. It's possible we're wrong, right, Jordan? You got to enter. We have to, just like we can entertain the upside, we got to enter the downside. That maybe we just had too many of these. We had too many of these beers, and we're just not doing good analysis. I mean, we got it. It's a possibility. But I think they'll sniff out that, hey, these year-over-year comps are coming. We better buy now. We'll see. Steven, I agree. Steven Hussey, I agree. I'm really surprised at how close to the mark Sony are playing it. Can't believe they still haven't done price reveal or pre-orders yet. No shit, Steven. Can you? Oh, I'm glad you said you can't believe that, because I couldn't believe it, but I know you're more dialed in than me. That seems nuts to me. They were real playing a game of chicken. Some folks said that too. It seems like them with Microsoft, but I'm like, come on, let's see it. What are they waiting for? Yeah, they're really playing it close, huh? And then they didn't announce it on September 9th. I know people thought they were going to do that too. But not so much that this impacts the GameStop thesis, right? I know Steven's not saying that, but like, yeah, what's going on here? Okay, so maybe, Steven said some more. And Trey said they literally had a form to sign up to find out about pre-orders price. Oh, really, Trey? You had to sign up about pre-orders and price? And then Steven said, I think pre-order data will be important, seeing tons of buzz on Twitter of people waiting with bated breath for PS5 official announcement. Yeah, I agree. Right, okay, so Steven's kind of saying that pre-order stuff is really what will kick off the buzz. That's a good point. I think, Steve, I bet you know more than me. I was thinking maybe just, obviously proximity to the new consoles, but also that when the prices are released and the dates are released, I thought that might kick things in. But also we haven't got PlayStation news, which is what you're getting at. We still only have Xbox news. So we need that PlayStation news too. But yeah, in the pre-orders, what are they? September, I think for Xbox, I think they're in September at September like 22nd or something. So, all right, I'll keep an eye out. That's another thing to look out for September. Good point, Steven, for folks. That's something I'll keep an eye on. Let's see if we start seeing more buzz. This isn't. This is kind of marginal analysis, right? But we do marginal analysis on the stream. It's important to at least take a peek at it, and let's see if it seems like GameStop starts getting some positive buzz. Or just gaming generally around that time. I'll be curious. Trey says to Steve, they're really playing with the too close, especially with Microsoft's offering at good price points. Yeah, so far I agree. Yeah, what the hell? I wonder what their game plan is. Now they know, Mike. What's the point of wait? I bet. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Maybe they're just going to wait 1 week. They saw Microsoft's price, let them digest it, then release it a week later. If it doesn't come out this week, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Make no mistake. But I'm just like, maybe it just takes a little bit. I talk about how sometimes it takes management teams a while to digest stuff and make a decision. They need to mull it over. I think it may just take a little bit of time. Let's see if it comes out this week. But a good point. Thanks for sharing, because I don't know how uncommon this is or how surprised people are by it. William Invest, welcome back. Interview me, former manager. You know my thought on the chart. Yeah. I agree. Oh, I'm catching up. Here we go. Come on. I think I'm catching up. Oh, William Invest. Oh, he posted so much. All right, I guess. I'm back. I agree. Technical analysis falls apart the longer the time goes, mainly because unpredictable factors. I'm mainly a fundamental investor. Look at AMD's chart. It's like 40 years old, basically. It's going bankrupt. I download more, but it gets a makeshift player. I download more, but it gets annoying because I need to be purchasing more memory. Yeah, I said it was lower memory on that digital version. I wouldn't like that. I had to install more memory. You see these spreadsheets. Well, we haven't opened the damn spreadsheets today, but these spreadsheets can get a little bit slow. They're not powerful. They just do a lot of shit. But when you have too many spreadsheets open, it starts to slow down the computer. I had to install some memory. I got a Mac. I had to install some memory. And install some memory in it. So, because I always get the alert, hey, you're running low on memory. I'm like, all right, you haven't anyone installed memory on a Mac? I know that's kind of silly, right? Most people, and most serious gamers too, the PC folks. I was a PC person, but I took the plunge a little while back. And anyway, so I saw the memory, the reduced memory in the digital version. I thought, if I'm a noob and I'm and I'm doing this for spreadsheets, gamers, I feel like serious gamers, like, well, that's ridiculous. I'm curious if anyone knows, are there any serious gamers out there, like legitimate gamers, like nasty gamers or popular streamers who are getting the digital version? I would be fascinated by that, because in the world I live in my head, the analysis I've done, I don't think it's likely, but I don't know enough about it. Okay. I download more, but it gets annoying because I need to be purchasing more memory. Right, makeshift player. William, I have knowledge of the company and no longer with them. I'm shocked later in life I would be sim so hard for their stock. Oh, that's interesting. So you no longer work there, but you're interested in the stock. Okay. Hugo, according to Graham Stephen, you will only be able to see my best days if you're willing to be with me in the worst ones. That's the thing that the traders don't understand. Well, good point, Hugo. I like the quotes. There's lots of good quotes we could toss out of the stream. I like that one. I don't know. Who's Graham Stephen? Should I know Graham Stephen? I don't know. But maybe regardless, that's the person who said that quote. Well, I wouldn't be so quick to knock traders. Everyone has their own unique style. And I've critiqued other styles in the past when I was younger, just getting started. You kind of think your style of investing is the optimal one. But the truth is, there's plenty of investment styles out there. You need to figure out which one works for you, for your own personality. Like the style, this is why I don't recommend, my style of investing, and I say this in the videos too, like it legit might not be a good fit for you because, who wants to deal with this volatility, the emotional strain for some people, it's just not worth it. There's other shit in life besides investing, you know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? It's not all about maximizing returns and stuff, so I can respect people who are like, no, that's not for me. I'm just trying to earn market returns or just slightly outperform, and I can get that because I got other shit to do with my life. And so, but some traders find the excitement in those day trading type stuff. They legit enjoy that. Hopefully, it's profitable for them. Obviously, if you're losing money over time, a substantial amount of money, that might not be a good trading model. But if it's small, this is then it gets into the gambling territory, right? It's like, well, wait a second, is there entertainment value for some folks? Anyway, what I'm just getting is that I don't want to critique traders too much. They might understand it. They might. So my point, Hugo, is just saying traders might get it. They just go, yeah, but that's not for me. I don't like to invest that way. And I can appreciate that. I don't think, in my opinion, I could be wrong. There's plenty of investment styles out there that I haven't seen or don't know about. In my experience, many of the other types of strategies out there, the processes aren't as robust, that it's not repeatable over time. So you may have had short-term success with a particular trading strategy, but when I read about or hear about it, I just think, I don't know how sustainable that edge might be. And I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm just saying, in my experience, this is the Roaring Kitty experience that I'm sharing with you. That's how I see it. And also that if you want to have long-term substantial outperformance, that the day trading model isn't the best way. But if that's another thing. It's not just the GME critiques. If you have critiques about my takes on just general analysis too, I'm all ears. I legit, I try to keep an open mind about this. I don't necessarily think my style is best. Not even that it might not be for you, but it might not be the best. There could be another style out there for individual investors that could work better. It could be. I'm skeptical. I'd have to really read about the analysis and learn about it, but I don't know. Okay, William Invest, I really think we could have a great stream talking about this together. Hey, we're having a good stream. I really appreciate a lot of people's comments on here. We have a good talk. Trey, I think there are certain types of gamers that end up downloading. There are people who play mostly F2P games and casual. Okay, well, there's definitely some types of gamers, right? Like I said, my family and friends, that's what they're doing. I just like the super serious. I don't know if I'm caught up, but like those serious gamers. Right, there's definitely people that's all they do is download, right? That they're out there. That's why, and and I don't know where I'm going with that. I'll wear my GameStop t-shirt. Camelot has nothing to do with the chart. He is funny, I guess. Do you want a link to the stream I've been on before? I'm not a fat tune and pesa. No. I'm just trying to get through all these things. Message me, William. Message me. Do you want a link to be William Invest? Probably fake, to be honest. Do you get on a management-only conference call? Left my app. Okay. Wish you were like a call-in radio show. No, so good point, William. I know. Wish you were like a call-in radio show. I know. It's like I feel bad. Like I'm trying to catch up to everybody here. That's what I talk. I'm like, it'd be nice if everyone had a microphone. We'd all be talking over each other. Right? We'd all be going on our own damn rants, talking over each other. But I could envision some of these discussions should be more back and forth. You know what I mean? Subreddit is a cult, frustrated, but it doesn't matter enough for this chart. Yeah. Again, I was a key holder there, passionate too. Stock was $54 back then. Yep. Thanks for sharing, William. I think most people mistake how business needs to be run. Cue the people who were mad they weren't provided masterwork at GameStop. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean. It's messy, Trey. All I know is I see the post and I think, all right, it's not necessarily great if this is accurate, if this is legit. I think it's not great, but there's trade-offs with everything. That's what I mean. There's multiple stakeholders, and it's just a balancing act among all of them. But they all, yeah, it's gray area. It's gray area. I want to weigh in with the rookie so bad. You can chime in, William, right here. Did you say Michael Burry is on this too? Oh yeah, William, you gotta check it out. You gotta go look into it. Do some searches. Bullhorn, Tony as ever. Yeah, the Big Short isn't on it. Yep. We haven't got an update from him since. Oh, excuse me. He wrote a letter about the company. He wrote a letter to management in June 2nd or June 3rd. He was chiming in about the board vote for the new board of directors, the new 2 members. And also check that out. Check out that letter if you haven't seen that letter to his board. And I included in the video too. He supported the current management team. And I going into that vote, I could kind of see it going the other way because I agreed with him that management seemed as if they were doing these two. They were accomplishing these 2 things so far. It was going to according to plan, and then they got thrown a curveball with the pandemic that they had to you got to run with this right now. You need to start making moves. But they're doing a good job, and I mean, this was just for board seats, so it was more so I agreed with what management was doing, and less so, excuse me, about the board seats, and I didn't know how impactful it was going to be on the GameStop thesis itself. But like a lot of the stuff Barry talked about in his original letters last summer, they kind of took some of those actions. It is kind of weird. Someone said this, I think it was Hester and Permit, where they go, management was only taking action after we prodded them to do so. And then they laid out a case. I'm like, it does kind of look like that. They're like, especially the one where they go, management and the board of directors should be buying more. And then a couple weeks later, watch this. Where was it? It was last September, right there. They said they should be buying more, and then they bought a couple. Not that they didn't buy that much. I was hoping they would have bought more at the time. And this was also the same time they were buying shares on the open market. The company was, but like stuff like that. I thought, yeah, you just doing what you being like, I don't know. I agreed with Barry's take though, but it's not a disappointment or anything that Heston and Perman got the seats. But it's we'll see what happens from here. I'm gonna catch up. Okay. Hugo, how many streams does it take you for finishing your beer? No, I know. Yeah, I know. Well, right now I've been like 1 beer a stream, but I keep on joking. There's been sometimes where I'm getting low on my beer. When we're like an hour and a half in, 2 hours, I'm like, I should have brought in 2. What I got to do is I got to get a fridge down here, and also more beer. Like I forgot what I got. Also more beer. I always try to have like a variety of beers around just to mix it up. I like variety, but usually 1 a stream, but maybe I'll bump it up till 2. Maybe we'll see what the GameStop price. We'll let the GameStop price action dictate it. No, I'm kidding. We got there's other stocks. There's other stuff. That's the thing. So we talk about GameStop on the stream so much, but as like talking educationally, right? You don't want to get too focused on one particular company and forget about the rest of the portfolio, right? I mean, we're spending time now because this is the stock of the month. There's a lot of it's an oversized position in the Roaring Kitty in the Roaring Kitty portfolio, but there's a lot of more. There's interest in it. There's stuff happening, but it's important if you are long GameStop or you have a position in GameStop, not to lose sight of your other position too, because there's other shit going on too. But I think most of the folks in here will probably talk about GameStop anyway, so it's cool. But I'm just talking educationally because I've done that before. Well, I'll be like overly focused on a couple of stocks and you kind of lose track of what else is going on. So it's important to always be tracking all the shit that's going on, not to get too focused. But we're having a good time. Where am I? You'd think people like him, Trey. You'd think people like him has to know something we don't. Barry gets stuff wrong. But I agree. Yeah, you'd think, but that's what I respect his opinion on these on deep value stocks. I want all else equal. You want Barry on your side. That's how I feel. And I feel that way about a lot of prominent investors, value investors. I got a whole thing here that I actually look at there. What do I call it? Funds. I'll come check out their holdings, like Toll and Greenlight and Fairfax and some other ones. Not all these are so much have like picks that overlap with mine, but I'm like curious what they're doing. So, but people, they get it wrong. But still, all else equal, you want these people on the same side as you. That's how I feel. As lonely value investors know, you want a little bit of company. We always say, oh, you got to be contrarian. Well, to a point, right? You don't want to be too contrarian, right? You don't want to bet. Who said that? Was it Klarman? You don't want to bet that the sun's not going to rise tomorrow. You don't want to be that contrarian where you're going to bet against that shit, right? Okay, Trey said, yeah, he bought Big Short bet. Barry, it's a big position for Barry, one of his top equity plays. Turn you on Twitter, never thesis, dude. Oh, William, I got to catch up. William Invest is posting a lot. I mean all caps. Facts on prudent investing. Roaring Kitty. Yep, catching up. Huge Chewy investor saw that. Ryan King. Hey, dropping it again. Welcome back, Ryan King. Welcome back. In fact, I mentioned you only in the stream. Ryan King was saying how last time he was open to the potential turnaround opportunity for GameStop and how he said he was new to investing. But that's an edge to just be keep an open mind about some of this stuff is an edge for an individual investor because you can see this conviction. And I'm going to assume that this short interest conviction here is mostly not individual investors, but like institutional type shit that they have trouble entertaining certain possibilities, especially like an option stuff too. I mentioned how the Black-Scholes model is a little bit limited in its calculations with regard to tail risks and stuff. It's kind of an issue with that type of stuff, and so sometimes they'll lean on certain esoteric complications of potential outcomes, and it throws the figures. But so I've been wondering if similar things are happening on the short side of things too. That's why I've been joking with the beep bop boop boop with the robots, because this level of conviction, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm rambling now. Okay, I'm reading up on Burry. Yep. I gotta catch up. Oh, I'm almost caught up. Let's go. I will be in touch with you on Twitter. There's substance to this. Okay, William. Honestly, I bet if you asked your relatives, friends, what games they play, they're likely playing either all free-to-play games or the online-only type of games. Oh, I wonder which one. So some of them are legit gamers. When you say that they're definitely not the free-to-play, but the online-only type of games. No, some of them are definitely the disc games, like Call of Duty, 2K. I mean, Trey, you wouldn't group that in with those online-only games. I mean, there are physical discs for those, but they just said for the convenience factor. They like the convenience of it. It sounds like they don't run into space constraints too much, but I was surprised by that. I think age plays a role too, and yes, like some people like what Trey's getting at. As some people might skew physical because if they're more casual, they might skew digital if they're more casual. But some at the same time, if they're younger, maybe their parents get them games and stuff. There's a lot of different things. It's hard to be super confident about any particular take, but I'm listening to you, Trey. Okay, make sure player. Yep, Barry got TLRD wrong. Yep, I saw that. They recently filed for bankruptcy. They stated COVID as the reason. Yeah, that kind of put them. I think I mentioned that in one of my early videos. It was like June. TLRD looked like it was the people were making the TLRD GME comparisons, but it wasn't fair because TLRD was super leveraged, which if it could have been, they had tremendous operating leverage as well. I've been long TLRD in the past as well, but there's too leveraged, ways too leveraged, and then the chart helped me on that one too because I got out of that one. I'm like, oh, this chart looks like shit. There you go. That was it. Is it TLRD queued? Is it still there? Would we even still have a chart? Oh, yeah, I still got it. So you look at that chart, like it started to break down, and I'm like, oh, and then it didn't look like it was going to make it through COVID. But its balance sheet was far weaker. That's why I think this is so weird to me. A flimsy balance sheet? I got to reread that, but I thought, what? No, it doesn't. It's not flimsy. It's a positive net. Remember we went through that balance sheet? Let me just pull up that balance sheet again. Look at that balance. I don't see the flimsiness of it. But anyway, I'll tell you who had a flimsy balance. It was TLRD. I know I'm going off a little bit here, but yeah, you got TLRD right. Yeah, Barry makes mistakes. I make mistakes. Y'all make mistakes. It's no big deal. That's okay. You just roll with it, reassess along the way. GME could be a mistake. You know what I mean? That we talk about confidence. I talk about how that's what I say. I'm not joking when I say I never have 120% conviction. I don't want to talk in absolutes, but it's real. It's well, legit. I don't think I've ever had 120% good conviction in anything. But so you're like 80% confident, or you're like 80% is really high, 85% confident. There's always that 15% chance it happens. And I suspect that some of the shorts, if it does work out, that let's say GameStop gets the 15, 20, 25 bucks, looking out 12 months or whatever it is, that I think the shorts might say. Now, I wouldn't say this about any stock, but because I'm so dialed in GameStop, I feel I might be allowed to say this, that if it does happen that GameStop gets up to that $15, $20 range, it's not because it was the unlikely outcome that happened. It's because I think the shorts may have had incomplete analysis, either or it was they just, I don't know. That's I wouldn't feel confident saying that about many other stocks. It's just because I'm super dialed in about this one at this time. I've been dialed into other stocks. I'll be dialed into other stocks in the future, but like in my case, if let's say I'm 80% sure, right? If it doesn't work out, I'm going to think, all right, the 20%, the unlikely event happened, and that's okay. That's fine. But the shorts, I think they just got their probability model wrong. I think that's incomplete analysis. It kind of confuses me. That's why I'm so thankful for the feedback I get on GameStop. I mean, during their stream, but even people commenting elsewhere and reaching out to me, I'm really appreciative because, and like I said, Ryan Cohen taking a stake because I don't get it. And like on this article too, there's a lot of commentary down and below. And who was it? Ian. Ian was responding to it, and he feels firmly in his beliefs. And it's interesting. It's just fascinating to me. We'll have to see how it turns out. But I felt a lot of this analysis was missing a lot of the stuff that I talked about in my video and that we talk about on the stream. I guess we can't go through it. I'm almost caught up. Maybe we could. Trey, honestly, the pitch from the activist investors made me want to get involved the most. Yeah, that was a legit pitch. You know, they had that long presentation. It was very comprehensive. I leaned on it in the videos. It's in my other videos. I gave a link to it. It was sick. It was a great. It was. I mean, I was already long GameStop, but then to read that, read someone putting out an 80-page PDF a presentation about it, I'm like, oh, this is great because it's supporting my bull thesis. So it was good. But also even. This, I mean, I keep pulling this up the whole time, but check out this one too. Even GameStop's own presentation was pretty good. I mean, they're battling back and forth and arguing about each other. I wasn't so much concerned with that one, but they talk about. I used this one in my video, that quick 4-minute video I put together. I used a lot of stuff from this, and then I mean, I used the Hester and Permanent one in the other video. I use them both. I use everything, but there's some good stuff in here too. William Invest. I have to go, but I'll be in your DMs this weekend. All right, cheers, William. I'll drink some Oktoberfest. Oh, I'll definitely be in the Oktoberfest. You see, the Oktoberfest has already been. Oh, it was early September, so I saw Oktoberfest. Oh, I saw Oktoberfest was out in August. I couldn't buy it. I don't know about other people. I couldn't pull the trigger on Oktoberfest on August 30th or whatever the hell it was. I'm like, I can't do this, too early. I need to wait for October. I need a little bit of seasonality here. I can't. I got some limitations. Usually, I'm not picky about my beers. I'll drink anything. But I'm like, I can't do Oktoberfest. So yeah, but once October comes, I'll definitely have some Oktoberfest during this stream, no doubt about it. Of course, there's a whole bunch of other Oktoberfest now, right? Everyone has an Oktoberfest type beer. Oh, sorry, you know what I was talking about? Oh, I was talking about Oktoberfest. There's a lot of Oktoberfest beers, but Pumpkinhead. I was thinking of the Shipyard Pumpkinhead in particular because I know that's a super popular one too. I saw that was the one that was out that caught my attention. I can't remember the beers. I got too much beer in me. I got too much beer in me to remember all the damn beers. You know what I mean? I can remember GameStop. I can't remember. Hugo, try to drink vodka in one streaming for making the ideas fly. Yo, shit, no shit, Hugo. So I'm on season 3 of Sopranos. Just a quick. We can take a break, just a 1-minute break from GameStop. So I watched Sopranos, but it's the couple of episodes where there's a lot of the Russians involved and they're drinking the vodka straight. And I do that sometimes too, where I'll drink some of that vodka, but not many people do that. But I swear, puts hair on your chest. It's like super strong. Just it's kind of badass. I felt you see him in the Sopranos too. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty sick. They're like coming in for breakfast, drinking the vodka. I'm like, oh, that's badass. Yeah, it's gonna sure I can do it during the stream. I don't want to go too. I already going bonkers. I'm already talking so much during the streams. Vodka or whiskey. I mean, if I'm drinking some whiskey too, look out. Maybe a celebratory. Maybe we're celebrating some shit. Okay. Sam Adams October. Yeah, so I was thinking I think it's the Sam Adams Oktoberfest. And then the Shipyard Pumpkinhead. Are there any other prominent October? We'll turn this into a beer stream. There's probably a ton of beer. There's probably a ton of beer channels out there. You know what I mean? I haven't seen too many. I haven't scoped them out. Again, too busy drinking the beers to scope it out, but there probably is. Maybe we could. This could be a dual, just like GameStop has a dual plan. We'll have a dual strategy for the stream. We'll analyze stocks and we'll analyze different beers. You know what I mean? Okay, William Invest. I learned the way of Cohen last couple of years. Now I know Barry's in this thing for real. Yup. Before I go, dude, it's for sure institutions. Oh, on the short side, yes, William, I agree. Jordan, I'm a little surprised the CEO, CFO, or other board members haven't increased their stake in the company. Something to watch for. If they don't make any purchases going forward now, Q2 is done. I agree. I mean, I think they should. If you've seen my other streams or you've seen my videos, then I'm all about the insider buying. So I agree. I always, all else equal, I always want more insider buying. I've been a little bit disappointed. The CEO owns a good chunk though. It was in one of those recent GME articles where the author did a good job laying all their positions because he went into their recent Form 4 filings. I thought that was sick that he did that. It was Jonathan, his first one, I think. And the CEO actually owns a decent chunk. Doesn't he own like 2 or 3% of the company? It's now not. It used to be not close to zilch, but now it's getting up there. I think he included it here. Let me see. Here it is. Is this it? Yeah, he went through. Look at it, and then he put the date. This is badass. This is good. He actually, I believe, he had to pull up every Form 4. And it wasn't actual ownership. He just pulled up. They had to file because maybe they were issued compensation or something. It wasn't outright open market purchases. So where is it? Not James Bell. He only owns 500,000. All right, so 500,000 ain't nothing. Excuse me. Oh, graphing calculators, everybody. Graphing calculators. It's that time of day. Divided by 65. All right, not quite a percent, so it's not that much. That James Bell, he's the CFO. Paul Evans. Well, that's not. Yeah, he owns some through. He's affiliated with Heston Permanent. Okay, where is? There he is. You look at that. As of June 9th, he had 2.4 divided by 65. That's 3.7%. That ain't nothing. Now, I always want more open. I want more purchases. I mean, it's not nothing. It's not big either, though. I talked about in one of my videos. I'm talking about investment strategy. I want to see at least 10%. I want to see 20%, 30%. I mean, if you have a majority too, that's not always a good thing, but I like to see it because then you're really. This is what Jordan's getting at. You want a management team that's in for the ride. Like they're here. They're ride or die, baby. They're like, let's do this. Like, and it's not nothing, but it's not big either. So I feel you, Jordan. It would be nice if they bought up some more. It'd be like, this is a tremendous opportunity. Let me buy up some more. At the same time, so I agree with you, Jordan. Full stop. But one thing to bear in mind, too, is that the reason you don't see more insiders push buying, because it's their livelihood, too. They're already managing the company. Like, their reputation is already on the line. They get a little bit of career risk. That's where they're making their income and stuff. But I'm not trying to give them an out. I'm just saying, yeah, I wish it were more than 3.7%, though. At first, I was like, yeah, that's a good chunk, but it's really not. For my usual take, that's not that much. But when I combine... Yeah, what am I getting at? I do wish he had more. I wish he had 10%. Buy more right now. Sherman, you think it's such a tremendous opportunity? Buy more right now. You know what I mean? I don't know how. This is the thing. I don't know his net worth or anything like that. And now it would be expensive to buy quite a bit more. It's not a small company. GameStop's not a super small company. I always talk about the market cap, but it's a $400 million company. That ain't nothing. Yeah, it'd be nice if he bought a bit. Can you imagine? We talk about the company buying back share. What if Sherman was uber wealthy? Right? I have no idea. But what if he were uber wealthy and he sees this tremendous opportunity and he knows he's at the helm? This is why insider ownership is always good, because that's why if you really want someone, remember that Overstock CEO? I forget the story. You can Google Overstock CEO, and he was like coming at the shorts and stuff. Like, oh, even Elon Musk did it too. Like if you got someone who's like, let's do this, and they're managing the team and they're at the helm, they can like call shorts out. They're like, I'll buy the shares myself and take up the float. You know what I mean? How badass would that be if Sherman did that? Then he's a Hall of Famer. Sherman does that, Hall of Famer. I mean, he'll be a Hall of Famer too if he does turn around GameStop and it does become this tremendous opportunity. Looking out 10 years. Let's say GameStop's a thriving business 10 years from now, and or even 5 years from now, and Sherman's been at the helm the whole time. Then he's a Hall of Famer too, because this would be a world-class turnaround for a business, because it's 118% short. You know what I mean? Everyone is betting against this. So if he did pull it off, then he's a Hall of Famer too. But he'll be a quicker Hall of Famer if we get a Roaring Kitty Hall of Famer, the management team crushing it And we found out that he bought up like 10 million shares or something. And the next couple weeks, boom, we toss him. We'll create a Rowan Kitty Hall of Fame on the YouTube channel or some shit. Trey, I've heard a lot of individuals making puts on GME and Robinhood groups and stuff, like selling puts, buying puts. Yeah, I've seen posts. I've seen posts about people playing like a lot of people betting on. You talk about maybe individual investors, right. So puts a little bit different than the shorting. I know you know this, Trey, but I'm specifically talking about shorting the stock. But you're right. Your point. There's definitely some individuals shorting the stock, but I think the lion's share of it is institutions, and I also think of that. I think a good chunk of it is weak hands. We'll know soon enough. There's nothing that drives sentiment like price. I'm telling you. That's why I think it was important for the shorts. If you were short, you needed that price. I really think you needed that price to go boom, boom. This is your chance. I'd be nervous because now the sentiment is like holding bullish. It's holding its bullish sentiment right now. And I know it's not reflected so much in the Seeking Alpha articles too much. I mean, Justin's doing his best and some other folks too. There's a number of good authors and good commenters out there. That's what I mean. I said this in one of my videos. On the GameStop video. There's a surprising number of good articles out there on Seeking Alpha. You don't see it too much for a lot of companies out there. I think the short interest has gotten a lot of people's attention too, so a lot of people commented on it. In the short squeeze potential, for better or worse, lots of people talking about it. But it's not reflected so much. It's not that sentiment change isn't reflected too much out there. We're talking about it right now, but I'm telling that as far as the charts go, this is how the charts. You can kind of lean on them. The charts are saying it stuck around this week, despite those what I think were the short-term investors kind of selling out, and maybe the short interest picking up. Despite that happening, this bullish level kind of held. I'm glad I put so I put this title of this stream. I did it on. I did it Wednesday after the live stream. I put it together because I don't have to do it later. And I'm like, oh, what should I put? So I made this is the graphic for the thumbnail that I included for the stream. So I put this graphic together and I used the weekly chart. And this is my technical analysis. Whoa, technical analysis. Not the high conviction stuff, somewhat marginal, but something I look at. And what else are you you can't put fundamental value investor stuff in the thumbnail. Who the hell is going to click that? Ooh, who cares about that? No, but seriously, this is the thing I'm watching right now. There's not much specific news I'm watching, but specifically on the technical analysis, I am watching this, and this signaled to me, and this is updated. So what did it show in the thumbnail? Oh, the thumbnail was maybe a little bit higher because it hadn't fallen back. And what a riot this is! It fell right to the damn line. I can't say. I keep on looking over here like the thumbnail say. It looks like the thumbnail to me, but it's not the thumbnail. But isn't this a riot? And so I included this in the title too, right at $11, just about, and I put it right around $6. Some people might say the top of this like $6.80. I'm glad I didn't because it would have been broken through, and then I would have been like, oh, what do I think now? So, but I just kind of put it in the ballpark. This high in April, right in that ballpark. That the top of the candlestick is the top closing price, but you see the wick there. It went a little bit higher intraday. And then it went a little bit higher back then, but I thought, this is more relevant. It's a bit near, and $6 is a nice round number. People like round numbers, so here we are, right there. So my point just being, the sentiment might be. We got to see what happens the next couple of weeks. And if you're short, this is the thing. So here's red flag number one. If you're short, you didn't get as big a sell-off as I think you would have been wishing for. But number two is, what do you think? What bad news? What bad news is going to come out that isn't? Do you think there's going to be a bad news press release filed in 2 weeks? What the hell is going to be filed? What the hell could surprise us? What the hell could surprise the bulls? And be like, oh shit, I didn't factor that in. There's legit. We're running out. We're running out of sellers of this. I'm speculation. Having a laugh here. We're running out of sellers so much that people who don't even have the stock have to sell it. And anyway, but like I don't even know what news could come out that was so bad. Like this was your chance. It was down year over year, even though I didn't think it was that bad. But and the stock still held up. So any incremental news from here on out, if you're short, I would be worried that it's going to be bullish, and it could, not that it will, but it could trigger that price rise, and then you start to get nervous. But I'm just trying to think out loud here in real time. So I can reflect back. We can reflect back on this later. But what was going through our minds at that time? This is why the videos are good too, and I need to do it for more stocks down the line. But that way you can see. This is why it's good to take notes too, where you went wrong, where your thinking went wrong, and all that stuff. But this is what I'm looking at right now. Ryan King, this is where I don't understand the mechanics of investing. How long are these short positions that these investors are in? I have no idea. Yeah, when you're short, I usually think the timing is super important, but I thought some people were betting on bankruptcy, which is so obviously off the table right now, right? And the short interest has gone up. You know what I mean? I keep on saying the fundamental events are unfolding in favor of the long thesis, and the short interest is going up. Like, it's taken a while for me. Is this the highest the short interest has ever been as a percentage of the float? It might be because they took out Cohen shares. Is this the highest it's ever been? I'm catching up. This might be the highest I've seen. I don't think I've seen. I've used adjusted float. I've used adjusted float before, but I think the highest. I don't know. I haven't documented this. If anyone has historical short interest, but I want to say the top I've seen is like 110 or something like that. But this is because Cohen ate up another 6 million shares, just about. But yeah, you know what I mean? It throws you for a loop. This is why the company is good, because you'd have to be getting a little bit. The longs would have to be getting a little bit nervous too. Just because that short interest is going so high. I'm not, but one would think that's why I'm so confused. You know what I mean? What the hell do they see? I get so, I don't know. Like, everyone I respect, for the most part, it kind of sees it similarly. We still might be wrong. I'm not saying we're definitely right, but this 120%. So it's taken a while for this to sit on, because this is new. This level. How can you get out of that? I mean, I don't know if they can get out. That's probably the bigger question. It's not so much the level of it. I mean, it does make it seem like the short position is insane to me. That anyone would be a marginal short seller of GameStop here. I can't. And this article, he said he was short. Didn't he say he was short? Ian Bezek? He say he was short? I have to see now. I am short GME. He is. There you go. Individual. I don't know if he's an individual investor, but not a robot. Non-robot short. You know what I mean? I read it though. I didn't find the short thesis too compelling. I assume Ann would disagree with me, but 120%. Anyway, but I don't know, and this is the more important question: is what the hell does it matter? Who cares? Who cares about 120% shortages? It's what surprises me. Number one is that more people aren't talking about it. I feel like there should be more articles out there. Like all these pieces, like any article you see about GameStop is like people ripping it to shreds, right? The GameStop, like people, people like clicking it. How are more people not talking about this ridiculous short interest, especially after Cohen got involved? That's a little bit surprising to me. But anyway, regardless, it's not so much the short interest itself is maybe a story, but as far as the long investors are concerned, who gives a shit? What matters is it going to lead to anything? Is it going to lead to a short squeeze? Again, that's not the major part of the thesis, but that's what's on everyone's mind, myself included, because I think, like I said, it seems like it could be an opportunity to make some moves or do something. I'm out of my element there. Okay, Trey, it's people that get a negative sentiment about a company that put like $1,000 in puts on that company. Yeah. If you are new, do not aim to go all in on a short squeeze. Makeshift player. Yep, the Jose Bank deal did it. Oh, I'm catching up. Okay, yeah, the Jose Bank deal, that did it. Also, I didn't know I didn't follow it that closely at the time. I wasn't long TLRD, but I thought they needed the founder. Remember when they lost the founder and he didn't come back? I thought, oh, you still should have this. What do you say? You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it. Is that what I think that's what it was. Yeah. Anyway, I thought he was a staple of the company. That was always weird. But yeah, indeed, it was the Jose Bank that had more of a negative impact on it, no doubt. Bro, how late will you be streaming? We can Zoom and watch this community grow. Man, Green Patch is dead. I've been doing it from like 7 to 10 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like I've said this on the earlier streams. We'll see if that works out. There's people tuning in. Someone said earlier, I think it was Dale or Daly, like there's only like one person on it. Just doing our usual research. But I don't know if Monday, Wednesday, Friday is best. I'm just testing stuff. Like it seems like it could make sense to do a nightly thing, because there's stuff moving every day, and sometimes I'll do the stream and I'm like, well, what the hell happened yesterday? I wasn't as dialed in yesterday. So it's messy, because it's really, when you're doing real analysis, it's difficult to put it into a schedule, because sometimes I'll say this, sometimes you don't feel like doing research. Sometimes you just feel like, nah, I'll just watch Sopranos and just drink a beer. I don't feel like doing it. Other times there's nothing to do, Nothing really happened. You're already dialed into all your companies. Nothing to do. You don't feel it's like what is there to do? But then sometimes you get really dialed in and there's everything to do, and you're doing research for 12 hours. And this is what happened in March and April. And after we got out of March and April, I regretted not having been live streaming at that time, because that's where I would have added. I mean, the stream is educational, right? I try to group it in education on YouTube. That's where it would have been the most educational for everybody, myself included, because I feel convinced that there wouldn't have been a better stream to dial in, to tune into during March and April, because of the work that I did. It was legit. I'm doing legitimate analysis, right? We're not shooting the shit about one particular stock. It's time to buckle down, and we're analyzing all these companies like 6 hours, like 12 hours straight, like nonstop. That's what time. So that's what I mean. That's why you can't do it. You can't do 6 hours every day. You got to pace yourself, right? Like there's other shit to do besides investing and stuff. But anyway, like right now, just kind of GameStop stock of the hour, stock of the month. But usually I'm just tracking a whole bunch of stocks. So I got to try to figure out what to do. And then maybe it makes sense to upload more videos. So I'm going off on, so this got me talking about what I would do with the streams. So right now I'm just streaming 7 to 10, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I post on Twitter sometimes too. And I'm Seeking Alpha a couple times, although not that much. But I don't know what to do with the channel. People have been giving me great feedback. I'm so appreciative for the feedback, because it's helpful. So when some people were saying, oh, that 5-minute GameStop video got people's attention. That's why I put that together. I started with the long form analysis of GameStop, that hour-long video. I'm like, no one's going to watch this, but that was my analysis. I mean, I've been analyzing it for a long time, so it wasn't my first pass at it or anything like that. That was me trying to put together a video. And some people said they liked that, and I'm like, oh, that's good, because that's what I do during that's what I would do during the stream. And then I'm like, this is too long, so then I did the 20-minute one, trying to have some fun with it. It's a roach, not a cigar butt. And then some people like that too. And then I put the 5-minute one together to at least for people to see that I felt like people aren't getting the thesis right. I feel like even the longs, I think some of the longs weren't getting the thesis right. So I wanted to try to spread the word on what I think is the appropriate long thesis for GameStop. That's why I put that quick one together. I never thought people would watch 60-minute GameStop video. But you could see my progression over August, because I had to learn Final Cut. So I was like trying to get better at it over time as fast as I could. But then I'm thinking maybe I should just put some more videos, some more short videos for some stocks, as opposed to, you don't have to dial into the stream, maybe like 2 or 3 minute videos, but also just general education things too. But then that would eat into stream time. So I'm curious too. I'm sure maybe there's some folks, Trey, maybe you too, who check out some live streams of gamers as well. Like how they handle it's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a different industry too. And like in this industry too, there's stuff moving every day. There's stuff moving every day. You could talk about something every day. Hell, that's what Kramer's doing, right? They got CNBC shit doing doing stuff all the time there. So there's always something to talk about. But if it depends what you're trying to roll out. Is it educational? Because then maybe you should have a video about technical analysis or fundamental investing or balance sheets. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing shit out there. But so we'll see. That's what I'm doing right now. Right now it's like focused on the stream and just following the GameStop story. But I'm hoping to do more videos down the line. But this is why I appreciate the feedback on what I've uploaded so far, because it helps inform what I might do down the line. So some people like that quick video, some people like the long form video, and some people like the streams. This is exciting. People tuning in. We're shooting the shit. This was my point of the stream too. I put together some language. I don't even remember where it's even on this video somewhere, but it's just trying to have fun. You know what I mean? Like this is just trying to have fun with the stream, do analysis. Right now we're mostly talking about GameStop and shit, but like value investing, kind of boring, like lonely. If you're a value investor, forget about it. You don't even have people on your side. So we'll see what we end up doing. Okay, musical felony. Cheers, musical felony. Time to drink. Welcome, musical. Laugh out loud. Robinhood groups. I inversed Wall Street bets, made calls, made leaps. When I heard Reggie got on the board back then, I'm willing to risk pennies for a possibility of a crazy profit. Yeah, well, that's investing for you. I mean, not so much. I mean, I just mean weighted average outcomes, weighted average probabilities and stuff. That's the way it works. Do your best to do as much analysis as you can to come up with as accurate of a probability model as you can, then place the bet. And if you're looking for a 5-bagger, maybe it's only going to work out 20 or 30% of the time. Although I have a much higher hit rate, because I'm really picky about my entry point. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that some of them will work out, some of them won't. Who cares? It's fine, because there's other opportunities out there. That's why. But I don't want to get the wrong impression that like you go all in on GameStop or something like that. There's other plays too, so you don't, just something to bear in mind as you're watching this stream. Lately, you're focused on GameStop, but there's other stocks. Everyone knows that, right? I'm just a reminder. Ryan King, I don't have a lot of money in this, just starting to test the waters. Cool, Ryan. Thanks for sharing. GME is a Time Lord of crazy return, in my opinion. Maybe Time Lord, maybe. Hugo 3D look. Hugo 3D look just announced that it is partnering with TLRD for making them to survive. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't. Didn't they already file bankruptcy, Hugo? I think they already did. Ryan King, what's the time frame of a time card? What's the time frame of a time card? Whoops, I mean Time Lord. I don't know, yeah. Trey, Roaring Kitty, as far as the games comment, I mean, if they're either... Oh, God, sorry, Trey, catching up. I mean, if they're either A, a casual gamer who doesn't care how you get the game, B, an online multiplayer game where it's more convenient to download and play. Okay, thanks for sharing, Trey. Okay, that makes sense. The casual gamer, they don't care too much. Or if it's an online multiplayer game, right. They just download and play and they're ready to play it, right? But that's the thing. So Trey, maybe you already commented, but if you're a super serious gamer, did you already say? Super serious gamer, aren't they all going physical console, physical disc though? Just for speed, maybe? I don't know. We invest. Haha, love your beer talk. Yep, staying in port another Oktoberfest. Bro, I have season 1 through 7 right now. I'll show you on Twitter. Just DM me the Sopranos. Tech Twitter, show me. Oh, hold on. I'll catch up. 17. I know the schedule. Oh, you know the schedule. Okay. Getting William on. I think we are forgetting something. Where is the Roaring Kitty? Getting something. Where's the Roaring Kitty? Oh, I don't know what you mean. Hugo said, I think we are forgetting something. Where is the Roaring Kitty? I don't know what you mean. William Invest. Check Twitter. Have me on and never look back, dude. Look forward to talking more. Okay, later, William. We would tell people we follow on Twitter recently about being exposed by Kramer, that old man shit. Dream with your eyes open. Thanks, William. What's your Wake Shift Club? What's your cost basis on GME, if you don't mind? I've been buying. I don't even know off the top of my head. And I get some calls too. I'm all over the place. All I can tell you is that I've been buying from this drop that week. I didn't own it before this. I owned it back in the day, like when was it? 2012, 2013. I think I talked about it on one of the streams. I kind of a lot of stocks were crushing it. Value stocks were crushing it. I was in right around here. I got this run up. I didn't capture the whole run up, just to be clear, but I got a good run up, and I haven't owned it since. But then I've been buying this whole way. I've been adding this whole way. So it's all I can tell you is it's between. It's almost certainly between. It's been between 4 and 550. But I've definitely. I added more above. I've added more below. That's the thing. I have some options. Just it messes with stuff, but the equity. I don't even know, and I got it in different places too, so I don't know. But that's all I'd say is between 4 and 550. Hopefully that's good enough. So I'm a deep value investor, right? So I'm not trying to capture a 50%. I'm not trying to. That may be all I get on some stocks. You know what I mean? But I'm going for. Like I said in one of my videos, I'm going for 3 to 5 baggers. That's what I'm going for. I don't get out of bed for. I mean, I'm kidding. But like that's what I'm shooting for. So I don't really care if I'm at $4 or $5. For some people, it really matters to get down to the pennies. I don't give a shit. I'm trying. Who cares if I bought it $4? Not that you're suggesting this. Who asked? Or makeshift. Not that you're suggesting this, but I'm just saying I don't care if I'm at 4 or 5 as long as I'm in the ballpark of where downside is protected. And I'm at a deep discount to where I think that weighted average upside is. I don't really care. I lose $1 here, lose $1 there. Like I said too, I buy on the upside. I buy when it's moving up too. So my weighted average gets skewed. But in general, I'm just looking for in a regular market like a 3 to 5 bagger, I'd say. But in a bear market, which I mentioned this in one of those investing, my style of investing. But in a bear market, I'm shooting for 5 to 10 baggers. Like no question about it. There's a ton of 10 baggers out there back in March and April, and you can get it even higher with calls and stuff too. So something to bear in mind. Harsh Patel. Hey, welcome back, Harsh. To be frank, Ryan Cohen making a tender offer or buying out the entire company doesn't make sense because if he wanted to do that, he would already have done so last week when the volume was super high. Maybe. Hey, Harsh. What do you say, last week? You mean last week? No, maybe he wanted to see the quarterly release. Maybe he wanted to see how they did in the quarter. You know what I mean? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Harsh. I'm not saying that's what he did. But entertain the possibility that maybe he just wanted a little bit more information about how they did this quarter. And he didn't have it because he's an outside investor at this point. Maybe anything else I can think of off the top? That's just my first thing. But I agree with you, Harsh. It's not my base case. But even still, it would take time. Even if you wanted to buy it out, it could take time. So that's your other thing. Harsh, you seem to be thinking like he could do it in like a week or two. But that stuff kind of takes time. Maybe he's just trying to get the toehold. And then he needs to talk to some, he needs to get financial backing. He needs to talk to some funds to get the financing, to do the acquisition, talk to the management team. Is it going to be hostile? That stuff takes time in the corporate environment. So that's not that's not enough to say that he's not buying the company. It could still be that he is. That's all I'd say. Close to 100 million traded last week. He could have been able to pick up 15, 20 million. Same point. He could have, but what I just said, but what stood out to me, and maybe this is to you too, Harsh, is that I thought he bought so aggressively. Remember, he bought so aggressively. I have it open, don't I? He bought so aggressively in August. It's like he wanted to do it quick. You know what I mean? He got up to 9, almost 10% in 2 weeks. Maybe I assume that's what stood out to a lot of people. You know, that's a little bit unusual. Boom, 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 boom. Not even 5%. He was like, I'm going to 10%. So that's what got my attention too. We talked about during the stream. His aggression was impressive. Yeah. But I think that stuff takes time, Harsh. It just takes time. I think I'm not an expert on this. I'm not gonna try to claim to be, but that was my take. Trey, I'm a super serious gamer. Okay, so I figured that, Trey. Where'd he go? I like getting physical for all the reasons we know. I have the download speed, but it offers more value to me. I also play a diverse set of games. I don't play one game a year. Oh, okay, yeah. Right. I get it for all the reasons we know. I have download speed, but it offers more value to me. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you're a serious gamer, and you do physical, right? And so I assume a lot of other people like that too. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate when the serious gamers are willing to share too. I'm not as dialed in as I'd like to be given my position here, but I appreciate you. I don't play one game a year. Yeah, some folks do. I mean, these are more blockbuster games these days too, which has been a knock against GameStop. There used to be a ton of games released every year, right? But now they're more big games. People may be playing fewer games, so that's something to consider too. I talk about that during one of the videos. Harsh, same here. I have a 1 gig connection, and I would say I still buy half of my games in disc. Okay, so still half. William Invest for the Kitty Crew. Check Twitter real quick, bro. Well, I'll check. I'm trying to catch up. I only have digital when I know I'm pre-ordering something, and it will be preloaded before day 0 of the game. Okay. I only have digital when I know I am pre-ordering something, and it will be preloaded before day 0. Oh, I see. So that you can play it beforehand? Okay. Trey, yeah, my local GameStop lets me pick up at 9 p.m. the night before launch, whereas digital has to... Oh, I see. Oh, you get a couple... Oh, okay. Okay. Just that time factor is a huge thing when I want to play day 1. Of course, yeah, if you're really eager and you're excited about that, you don't want to wait, right? You don't want... Same thing, people want to go to movies and stuff. You don't want to wait. Jordan, tender offer takes time. So Jordan's saying the same thing. I would think he would want a 20% stake at least before making an official offer. Maybe, yeah, he might, Jordan. Maybe he wants a bigger stake. Yeah, he might want to wait till he's... maybe just want to wait till he's done buying before he makes the offer. To Jordan's point, yeah, he just wants a lower cost basis. You know what I mean? Wave Mint, welcome Wave. I own 57 shares of GME at 673, average cost for 673. Okay. Like I said, deep value investor. I still think it looks on the cheap side, below 7 personally, based on my analysis, which could be wrong. The analysis could be wrong, but I think so. Makeshift player. I seriously game, but I only play a couple games like Siege and LOL. Okay. Trade Daniel. I mean, I buy the most premium editions of the games, of most of the games I buy. Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay, well, okay, you DM me, William. Okay, cool. I'm caught up. Sir. Oh, Hugo. I was talking about the kitty of the picture XD, the real one. I was talking about the kitty of the picture XD, the real one. I don't know. I don't follow. Do I get a picture of a kitty? I don't know, Hugo. I'm trying to. Maybe this beer is getting to me. All right. Okay. Okay. Now I'm someone. Feel free to keep chatting. I'm gonna the kitty on the lower. Oh, geez, the kitty. I forgot the kitty on the lower right. The kitty on the lower right. Thank you, Ryan. I think he's talking about your YouTube profile. Oh, okay. We're not YouTube. Yeah. Well, okay. So we're all over the place. So I forgot. I actually forgot about this. This kitty down. Okay, I can't. That kitty over there. I get that in OBS. I forget that that's there. It uploads with it too, I think. But you can just set it in OBS, so it's just always there. But OBS is sick, by the way. I hadn't used OBS before the stream, obviously, but so I had to spend time. I mean, I'm an investor, right? But I was trying to learn Final Cut. But even before Final Cut, I was trying to learn like the OBS, the streaming, how to stream and all this stuff. But OBS, I thought was super sick. I know it's real. It's a real basic software for streaming and stuff. It's free. It's open source and everything like that. But I thought it's really helpful, and I thought it was cool. So I'm like, oh, I can include this kitty. I include the kitty in some of the videos, and I'm like, oh, I think I can include this during the stream too. Yeah, I forgot you could see it. That's funny. In the kitty OBS is great software. Yes, thank you, Trey. I agree. And for me, it was like mind blowing. I'm like, whoa, this is super powerful. But then I see so I watched a lot of, and they keep improving it. Yeah, that's sick. So I like that open source stuff, right? I love that. I'm more inclined to use your, well, yeah, with the emojis. I'm more inclined to use the software when it's like that because I like the constant updates. I like the free nature of it. And so I spent a lot of time watching. Trey, I don't even know. Maybe if you have video, I mean, I was even watching like tutorials on how to use a lot of this stuff too. So anyway, now I'm rambling about OBS. It's an investing stream, but it's been kind of an educational couple of months on my front, just trying to pick up. I talk about bolt-on skill sets. Same thing for streaming, I suppose. I had to these bolt-on skill sets. I mean, I'm kind of interested by it too. Like I value education and stuff, and so I myself like learning this shit too. They only recently made the scenes where you can nest scenes. Oh, is that what? Is this? Am I nesting this scene? No, oh, is that so? This is new that I can nest scenes. So that the layers. I've always you say nesting. I've viewed these more as layers. Is that what is it? Do you consider the kitty that kitty over here a nest? Because if that's only new, I got really lucky because I think that's pretty. No, that can't be right. I don't know, Trey. I'm trying to keep up. Layer. Okay, the layers. Yeah, so layers is what I thought. But Trey might be talking about something different. I'm like I'm a noob. Okay. All right, where are we at? Okay, so let's check out Justin's real quick. I legit haven't read it. Didn't it just get uploaded? Layers, bro, check it. Layers have been a thing for a while. Yeah, layers must have been a thing for a while because that's how you stream. Like I'm layered. I got a green. I mean, this is obvious, right? I got a green screen back here. But I had to pick up the green screen. Oh, I had to pick up the green screen for any streamers that had to get the green screen, like during the. Like the past 6 months, like I never had a green screen before, and I had gotten one, and but they were all sold out. They're all sold out because everyone got one. I'm like, I think I had to get it on. I don't even remember. I can't remember this. I think I had to get it on like eBay or something. I can't remember. You can nest scenes and take one scene and put a small scene like your webcam and the whole frame for it as a smaller scene within another scene. Yeah. Sopranos is family. It's like the kitty is family. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I need to look more. I could do, so Trey, I look more we're just going on a quick segue here into stream. Who cares, right? Who cares? We're having fun. There's a lot of powerful stuff you could do even with OBS, and I looked into it, and I was really getting jazzed about it. But not what I'm talking about. Like, you can literally have a sub scene with a bunch of stuff in another scene. Yeah, I think I may have seen what you're talking about, Trey. There's some really powerful stuff you could do even within OBS. You didn't need the super powerful software. And I was getting really jazzed, but then I'm like at some point I had to draw the line as to how far I was willing to like learn more about it, because then you just need to just get going, and then you can learn more later. Like that's what I was doing with my videos, right? So I was like, roll at this video, I'll get feedback, and people gave me great feedback, and I tried to improve stuff, iterate. That's how you learn. Same thing with investing. That's why if you're younger and you're trying to learn, like make the trade and test it out. If it doesn't work, you learn from it. Always be trying to learn over time. I did it for my streams, but no one watches me. Yeah, okay, maybe I should look into it. Could be, that's the thing. So, like, gaming streams can be really sick, right? That can be a lot. There's a lot you can do with gaming streams. And then I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with an investing stream? Like, I'm gonna be streaming on spreadsheets and stuff. So I saw a lot of powerful stuff, but I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? And then like, how much can I actually use over time? It's not that I was like saying I'm not gonna do it, but I meant like imminently. I'm like, I don't think I can use this stuff right now. William just learned it this summer. Yeah, I feel like there should be more investing streams out there, like of Trey, you could have meme sounds for different scenarios. Oh, that's a good idea. I did get a robot sound from beep beep boop 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 boop. I could come up with a whole bunch of. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Robin Hood Red Zone, yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay, I can look into sound. So I can like press a button, maybe it sets off a sound or something when we see insider buying. Oh, you can do this. That's a good idea, Trey. You can do that. So when we're doing an analysis on a company and we see something we like, insider buying or a 40%, 50% drop or something, really anything. You can have so much. See what I mean? You can have fun with this. And we only know this because we're joining a stream. They have this. They have like the stream. I do know the Stream Deck from Elgato that you could just press a button. I looked into that Stream Deck. Also, I looked into the Elgato green screens too. There were none. You could just press a button and play it. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's how I would use that Stream Deck. Yes, I did see that. I thought I had to program that though. Oh wait, retro digital or reverse split. Oh, did I miss your comment? Reverse digital. Especially Jigga would be a killer. Yeah, maybe William. What Wait, where does it just go? Oh, the Elgato. I did see that thing. I thought you had to program it, but it seemed like it was going to be a lot of work to program it. Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe I should look into that again. And now I feel like a lot of stuff was sold out back in the day when I was looking to, but maybe it's back. Maybe I should look into that. Okay. Green screens are too expensive. Yeah, no, there were. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, they're a bit expensive. But because I feel like for this, like for an educational standpoint, right? If you couldn't see me, it's like I feel like this is why I thought like remote learning can be tough. Like sometimes it can help to see the person to communicate with you. Like as human beings, we tend to communicate a bit better when we talking to each other. I mean, I know I can't see you, but for the educational streams, I feel it could be helpful so you can see me talking through this stuff. Where if I weren't here, then you can only see the charts and stuff. It feels a little bit less personal. I think you need that personal touch for educational reasons. And so that's why I got the green screen. I'm like, you gotta have the green screen. Trey Daniel, there's some cheaper green screens. William, former teacher. Oh yeah, so William invests. Yeah, you agree. Yeah, you're a teacher. Good luck. I mean, it's tough in this remote environment. Ryan King, just paint the wall green and hope your wife doesn't kill you. Yeah, seriously, some people do that and it could work. Yeah, I went the lazy route. I often go to lazy route with stuff like that. I just got the green screen. There's definitely more stuff that could be done. All right, I got to give some of that stuff some thought. Oh, I had one more thought I was going to say. I forget. I'll think about it later. Okay, it'll come. I forget stuff all the time. As you see, I can't remember stuff. I got a 2-year-old daughter. Once you have a kid, forget about it. I feel like I used to have a good. I can remember stocks and stuff, I guess, but regular old stuff, I can't remember. I try. You were thinking of Twitter, laugh out loud. Maybe, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, Twitter, yeah. No, I got to read it. I want to check out this article. Ryan Cohen says no to, I want to check this article first. So Ryan Cohen says no to 100% of almost everything that comes to, it's 9:30? Shit. I definitely got to read this now. I'll share the message, family. Well, no, I'll check it out later, William. Yeah, I feel you. My 2-year-old son's making it hard to keep up. Yeah. I mean, you love them, right? They're so cute, but forgetting for like trying to remember like some small details and stuff. I'm like, it kind of falls to the wayside on that type of stuff. It's kind of funny. Ryan Cohen says no to 190%. Yeah, okay. So I mentioned that in that tweet too. He's had an all-star lawyer, Chris Davis, who specializes in mergers and tender offers. Yeah, he saw that on the 13D. It had his attorney listed up top. Besides being a father making you feel crazy, and these shorts keep making me feel crazy. Yeah, we got enough craziness going on. I mean, you need these shorts to add some fuel to the fire. It's like enough. What's that Family Guy meme? He's already dead. All right, Ryan Cohen is not an investor. He's an entrepreneur. He's not investing in a stock. He's buying a company whose local dominance can be replicated online. Yep. GameStop is over $5 a share in net cash, and over. Is that net cash? Okay, so he's just subtracting the debt from the cash position. Yeah, okay. And over $12 a share in cash, right? Isn't that crazy? $12 a share in cash. It's nuts. $12 a share in cash. And I know there's I'm glad Justin phrased it like that, though, right? I mean, there's other stuff. Some of that cash is earmarked for other stuff, right? We know that. But that's not the point. The point is the damn stock is so damn cheap that this other stuff is like, is marginal. It's, you know what I mean? So because you have the stock, so that's why it's good to just look at these absolute figures. It is. You don't just... I include in my video, I list net cash, I think, but look at the cash. Look at what historical free cash flow was for those 3 years. I'll pull it up while I forget where I have it. But look at what free cash flow was 2014, 2015, 2016. It was absurd. In the end, people say, it's not the same story, blah, blah, blah. I get it, but I'm just trying to convey the level of discount that you have. It's absurd. So it's good to just take a step back and just look at these figures and be like, what the hell? $12 in cash on a $6 share price? Making an extremely undervalued security given unexpected positive future cash flows next generation cycle. Cohen's best option is to work with GameStop's board of directors and to agree on a price that can be presented to shareholders for a vote. Such an action would be also a force a short squeeze by requiring institutions to call in shares. So I got two things here. First of all, the one thing I disagree with this with Justin is heads up is that you be careful what you wish for, because suppose you get a share price that you're not happy with. A buyout price that you're not happy with. Because remember I brought up all those owners. What if these are what if he tries to buy it out at $8 a share? I'm curious if Justin would be happy with that. Some people would. I mean, it's a double from the lows of 4, but many longs I don't think would be satisfied with that. And there's a case to be made. It's been traded at such a discount for so long. They might get the yes votes. Let's say it's Cohen. He's got 6 million votes. Let's say he bought some more. Say he's at 8 million shares. BlackRock, FMR, Vanguard. So you got to be careful what you're wishing for there, because maybe Justin would be pleased with an $8 buyout or a $10 buyout, but the price has been in the gutter for so long. I don't know. There's it might be an auto yes vote at $8, and then I don't know. So I just saying, be careful what you wish for. Again, it's not my base case, but it's something that needs to consider. So okay, so that's number 2. Oh, Trey, what I want to see is more investment back into the value of the business. I know it looks good to have cash on hand, but make innovation happen, drive more capital your way. So to your point, Trey, that's why I said, so that's $5 shares net cash, but there's other things besides debt that cash will go to. We talked about this on the live stream. Obviously, for debt, you got to pay it off, but they can use future free cash flows for that. But also, they need that cash to buy inventory. Like, that cash is going to be used for other stuff, for our liabilities. Not that Justin's not acknowledging this. He gets it. But this cash is going to be used for other stuff. So that's stuff. But also, to your point, Trey, they got to use their cash to reinvent themselves. So it's not like, then again, Justin's not saying this, but it's not like they can just pay out a dividend and like it's free cash willy-nilly. Nevertheless, his point still stands. It's a super discounted stock. But I agree with you, Trey, that if you're really trying to make sure your downside is covered, you got to make sure that this, bear in mind this other stuff, like you say. But they need to reinvent the business. But that's the thing. It's not just this cash that they have. They have future free cash flows they'll likely be generating too. Not all the bears agree with that, but that's what Justin thinks, and that's what I think too. Okay, number 2, Harsh Patel's, and then he's saying no. He means that everyone would have to call their shares back to vote, and that will cause squeeze. Okay, so this is the second point. That was my first point that I just wanted to point out about a potential buyout. The second point of this buyout is, how do you know, Harsh? How do you know that that's going to cause a squeeze, just them calling their shares back? Could it? Yes. Is it a 100% chance? I don't know. Maybe. What if it's a buyout again? What if it's a buyout at $8 per share or $10 per share? It's conceivable to me that the people could get out without causing a squeeze. It's not a foregone conclusion. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I don't think Justin is saying it's definitely going to happen. Does he? Well, he does kind of phrase it that way. He says such an action would also force a short squeeze. I don't agree with that phrasing because maybe, unless Justin knows more about this than I do, and I'm not sure he does, we have similar analytical styles. I'm not so sure it definitely causes a short squeeze. It could, and that's something, that possibility needs to be factored in, but would such an action would also force a short squeeze? Yeah, I don't agree with that. By requiring institutions can call in shares, maybe it does, maybe it does, but the way that's worded makes it seem like Justin's kind of making it seem like it's definitely going to happen. I'm not convinced it would. This could fund Cohen's entire purchase. It's an interesting thing, and I mean, as a GameStop long, I like that Justin's at least talking. He's been frequently talking about this. I mean, he's been talking about this stuff more prominently than others. So I'm glad he mentions it. I hope he doesn't take it as a criticism. I disagree with the wording of this because I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that you get a squeeze. And because of this reason, you got to be careful with those far out of the money call options. You know what I mean? Because then you, especially if you do get the buyout at say a $10, $12, everyone seems to think that you'll get a buyout at $20 a price or $15. We'll see what Justin says. I don't know what he says, but it's what if it's at $8 or $10? That would be a disappointment, I suspect. And if you don't get the squeeze too, shit, it's not a disastrous outcome, right? But it ain't ideal. It ain't ideal. So that's all I'd say to that. Cohen's best option is to get them to agree on a price that can be presented to shareholders. Okay, so this is my follow-up point to that. Okay, I see some people saying, I'm curious about this conversation. This is a good chat. So so he's saying that let's talk with managers to bring it to shareholders to vote. What about the vote? Who owns the shares? Like, what if Ryan Cohen has 10 million shares? 11 million shares at BlackRock, FMR. Are you sure they're going to vote for, are you sure they wouldn't just say yes to it, a $10 buyout? I'm not sure. Look how cheap, look how discounted this stock has been for so long. I don't know how these funds exactly vote. I'm not going to pretend to say that they're definitely going to say yes, but it's something you need to consider if you're long, especially if you're hoping for a buyout. And then if that happens, there's no guarantee you get the squeeze. All right, let me try to catch up here. Jordan, management should have a conference call before the console launch to explain and sell their business plan for the console launch. That would improve sentiment. Yeah, they could. I agree. They could do more on that front. I agree, Jordan. As time passes too, especially as you get closer, I agree. That's the time. I mean, I even think right now would have been a good time to get that talk going. I know Jordan agrees. Like it's September. October, November, the games are coming out. I mean, they're using this as an opportunity to test stuff, but using it as an opportunity to sell this new business model. So I agree, Jordan. Hopefully they do. Let's not rule it out. It's not like it's a stick a fork in it or anything. Harsh, because short volume is more than the float. So, yeah, but Harsh, if people are selling all the way up, what if everyone's short interest? If everyone sells, let's say it's a $10 buyout. If everyone sells and is willing to sell at that $10 price point, and there's a flurry of sales, there's no. I'm sorry, I can't see the guaranteed short squeeze. I don't agree. Just because short volume is more than the total float. I'm not sure that sentence is accurate. Short volume. Do you mean short interest is more than? Oh, sorry, you corrected yourself. Okay, short interest is more than the total float. Yeah, no, not necessarily. The same share sold short can be bought back multiple times. This is why you can have a short interest greater than 100% of the outstanding share count, because it can be bought back many times. And it's conceivable to me that same share could be bought back multiple times by the time that share price reaches the bio price. I'm not saying that it definitely, just to be clear, Harsh, I'm not saying it's, and to Justin, I'm not saying it's definitely not going to cause a squeeze. I'm just saying we shouldn't phrase it that it's definitely going to cause a squeeze, or that it's definitely going to happen. Everything's probabilities. And in my mind, the probabilities of that squeeze it seems to be lower than what other people seem to be thinking. Trey, Jordan St. Pierre, and a refined investor pitch that redefines investor expectations for what the plan is to earn public trust back. I agree with that. More positive publicity about that turnaround. It could be too, they don't have things nailed down. Like I said, I know I keep bringing this up, but they're just focusing on that other stuff first. Let's hope if 6 months pass, Jordan and Trey, and we don't get that, I'm gonna say I'd be disappointed. We need more of a story. We need a better story right now, and I'm just thinking in my head, I wanted more. I always want more, but I just think it's not like it's over yet. There's still time for it to happen. And I agree. Like I like the brainstorming ideas of different things they can do. Not that are they watching the Roaring Kitty stream? GameStop management? You tuning in? Maybe, but who cares? This is how we form our own opinions about this shit. Harsh Patel, because if more than the float, and people won't sell at all during that time, so supply would be insanely low, and they can't buy back 50 million shares of the recalled. I'm not so sure. I hear what you're saying, Harsh. I'm not so sure. Harsh, if you'd like to share what let's say there's a buyout price, let's say there's a buyout offer at $10 per share, what probability would you assign to a squeeze? And at what price does the squeeze go up to? You know what I mean? There's so much that what you're saying isn't enough to indicate that a squeeze is imminent, that it's definite. I'm not sold. I'm not saying that I fully understand it. I've said multiple times it's above my pay grade, but I don't find your argument compelling enough for me. You could be right, Harsh. You could be right. I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, but I could see the same. You say people won't sell, but you don't need everyone to sell. I could see the same shares being sold back and it covering up, and I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. It could be above me. Jordan, that's why management should be buying shares. I think this is worth buying more than 10. They better show it with insider buying. I know. I agree. I'd like more insider buying for sure. It'd be nice if they did. Yeah, eat up that flow. Can you imagine if that's the thing? And not that anyone, like if everyone was just buying shares right now, especially in this increased volume, damn, it would be a missed opportunity. It could be a missed opportunity. I don't know. Trey, show it with insider buying and an exact execution plan that makes investors excited about the innovation potential of positioning themselves like Chewy did as a niche market. Agreed. Hey, where's my yeah? I play a sound right there when someone's preaching the truth out there. You know what I mean? Jordan, I think a tender offer is very possible. That's why insider buys are important right now. You don't want to lose this company for 8 or 10 or 12 or amazing potential. Yeah, but Jordan, what's to stop that happening from right now? Is it only insider buy? Is there anything that could stop that right now? A buyout at 8? Can you imagine? That would be. I'm not so sure there's anything that 100% probability if people call back the shares. Oh, Harsh. 100% probability on a short squeeze if there's a buyout? I don't agree with that. All right, we're going to have to agree to disagree. I think you're a bull, Harsh. Not that this is good when even bulls disagree, but 100% probability that they won't be able to get all those shares back, that's really high. And I don't like to speak in absolutes. I recommend not assigning 100% probabilities to shit. But maybe you're right, though. Even still, 100% probability is really high. I don't know about that. It'd be. I mean, again, I benefit if it does squeeze. I hope you don't. I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can, and I think it's conceivable that it could get bought out without a squeeze happening. But at the same time, I also think it could happen. So I have some of the positions that I do. So don't get me wrong, Harsh. I'm not saying. I just don't think my probability of that happening is quite a bit lower than you. But thank you for sharing. I always appreciate it. I always appreciate when people will share their estimates, their assumptions, their probability models, because then you can get right into what people are thinking. You know what I mean? So I appreciate this. Right off the bat, I kind of know where Harsh is at, where he's like, Trey Daniel, 100% probability, like the probability that people are shorting GME. Yeah, how confident are you this is going to happen? I am 120%. Like that's a joke, right? But that's what I mean. That's how confident people are in the short. Kind of, not really, right? But yeah, I agree. Harsh, they can't buy back all because they can't rotate the same shares so quickly to buy. They could rotate those shares, Harsh. those shares could be rotated out pretty quickly, back and forth, back and forth. What's to stop those shares from being rotated? I think they could. I think maybe they could. Big blocks and stuff. I don't know. But I'm not an expert on this stuff. I can't say that enough times. And I have to remind myself of that too. But that's why I'm not going to be 100% probable on anything on this front. I'm probably going to be like 50. I'm going to be like 60% on something like this. 70% max or something. But okay, we're not 950. Oh, hey, good GameStop time. Were there other stocks we're going to look at today? Shit. All right, we got through his top points. I'm sorry, Justin. I'll get back to your other stuff, but I need to see your conclusion. Oh, let me see your summary and your conclusion. I made the bull case for GameStop in several articles. The most recent quarterly results show that GameStop is an extremely strong footing. Agreed. The article will less about the business case that we all understand. Next-gen consoles will lead to massive profits. Agreed. As customers attach accessories, new console. Yeah, I agreed. He's got a lot of good analysis on that stuff. I'll have a little bit of a different take on the thesis, the overall thesis itself, but he's done good analysis on this stuff. And I'm definitely always reading his stuff whenever he's writing it. And he's very active too. Not that Justin's watching this, but I appreciate his feedback because in any comments too, he's very active on the stuff, and I appreciate that. Like I said, I appreciate when Harsh is sharing his information. So like someone like Justin, when they're super active, that helps me build my own model in my head. And someone who's been as writing as much about the company as he has, I've appreciated personally because it helps me build out my thesis. And the same thing for a lot of authors and commenters too. I always appreciate it. Okay. Short squeeze. We cannot allow ourselves to disappoint the short sellers and bears by failing to mention the short squeeze opportunity. Right. So he failed to mention the short squeeze opportunity. If Ryan Cohen successfully negotiates a purchase price with the board, then the shareholders will have to vote on it. Unlike the proxy battle where Hester and Perma were running a minority of slated directors, the nominative purchase of GameStop would force institutions to call in their shares. Right. By doing so, the shorts would be forced to close out all their positions, and GameStop would finally have the greatest short squeeze. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the language, Justin. I hope he's right. Ironically, Cohen could use this opportunity to sell all his shares and use the proceeds to entirely fund the acquisition again. I know. Sell his shares during the squeeze? Oh, I don't think he would do that. No, I don't think he would use the proceeds. I think Justin's just talking about like we try to keep an open mind about this stuff. He's trying to paint the picture of think about what's possible. I think it's highly unlikely. Not that Justin's saying it's like I think it's highly unlikely he would sell out, not a short squeeze, and then maybe that would be incredible for absolutely nothing. In fact, this acquisition price would be less than zero. It will be exciting to see how it all plays out according to Bloomberg Wall Street Journal. They're now 58 million shares short as of August 31 with 65 million shares outstanding. If I were short, I'd be sweating bullets right now. This won't end well and will ruin many. Maybe. I mean, I agree with a lot of what Justin says. The language is a little bit of a difference of opinion here. I try to be careful with some of the stuff I say, but I appreciate all these bear articles out here. Like I appreciate someone like Justin being like, "Hey, this is what could happen on the upside." Because I try to do it in my videos, but for someone on Seeking Alpha to be like, "This is what's possible," I like to see that because I'm like, "Yes, talk up this upside potential because this is possible." You're right, and especially this line here. If I was trying to be sweating bullets right now, I would be too. I agree with them. I talk about hero. It's crazy to me. So clearly Justin doesn't understand it either. It doesn't make sense to us. Harsh Patel, the trading companies can put up shares to be lent out to shorts, and during the tender offers and stuff like that, they don't put up a lot of shares to be lent out because they can get into trouble for lending out shares twice, so they always get super tight in terms of lending out shares and following the law for change during times like that, such as a buyout offer. Yeah, maybe, Harsh. I don't know. I strongly disagree with the 100% probability. I'll say that much. But I'm not going to pretend like I definitely know or I'm an expert. You see what type of analysis I do, this like knowing this stuff, the intricacies of that type of stuff, shorting shares and calling it back and stuff. Just like I can envision the upside possibility for the GameStop, I can envision a more systematic calling back of the shares without causing a short squeeze. But I agree, I concede, nothing like that. Have we ever seen anything like this? We talk about the VW squeeze in the last stream. It was only 12% of shares were short. 12% of shares. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I know Justin says that even if there were a buyout at $8, $10, let's say, right, there could be a short squeeze even before that happens because of this, right? If that were to happen, look at this, 22 likes. Oh, good for him. That's good to get. That's good. People are seeing this. They should. Oh, there are how many comments are on this? Doesn't he just post this today? 118 comments. Oh, there's going to be a lot to read. Sick. On a Friday? Didn't this just get published too? When did these articles come? 6:07. Wow, busy article. All right, props, Justin. Nice. Get people talking about this. Oh, we didn't even get to the balance sheet. No one filed anything after hours today. Right? Just checking. Jordan, imagine if you bought 20% of the company, sells some during the squeeze, and gets the money. Yeah, so that could be absolute legend. I agree, Jordan. That could be. It's conceivable that the best, just shooting the shit right here, right? Best possible outcome is he buys a shit ton more, maybe gets up to that 20% threshold, like Jordan's saying here, and they buy back shares. So to get to 20%, what do you need? That'd be another $6 million, and then let's say it's a $6 share price, and they got 115 left. Then there'd be another 20 million. So that takes out another 20. Not high conviction, but it's possible. Agreed, Jordan. That's more my type of language. Not high conviction, but it's possible. Let me toss it out there, throw it around, see what people do with it. So then that would take out another 27 million shares. I know. How do you get out of that? I don't know. I don't know, Jordan. I don't know. But that's what I think might be the best case scenario. So people talking about a buyout, be careful what you wish for. It may not be that it's the best possible outcome. Again, Justin might agree with this. He's just trying to get this article out there, and I respect that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they get out of it. And then what if they drop positive news too? That's what some people are thinking. It was a possibility that this all happens around the Q2 readout. It could still happen. And I don't know, but I'd have to say if that happened too, he buys more shares and there's they exhaust the buyback authorization and they drop some good news, then I have to say, yeah, then my probabilities of these types of things go up. But it's just it hasn't happened yet. That's what I was saying. If that was his plan, he had a chance to get up to like 50% last week with 100 million in trading volume. Ryan King, I'm curious what you guys think the long-term business model is. I'm almost 100% certain it isn't physical disc. Oh yeah, Ryan King, check out the other videos on my channel. I talk about the other possibilities and other things that it could do with its business model. Okay, so all right, we got the quick take on that, but I'm curious to read Justin's take. I'm sure it's going to be similar to mine. I mean, I tweeted about that. When? Oh, so he messaged me. I'll get to that. I pinned it. Yeah, check it out. If you want to read more about my take on this, I'm glad Justin wrote an article on it. This was my initial take back from a couple weeks ago. I tried to link you directly to the articles and the videos. So that you can get right to it. I picked out some quotes that I thought that made the comparison obvious to GameStop. So check this tweet out if you're curious. You may not care. That's cool. That's fine. But I tried to put it all in a tweet so everything's available for you right at the click of a mouse, if you will. So you can check that out. But I'm curious to read this. I bet Justin's gonna be very similar. We have a similar analytical style. On August 8th, he filed a 13D. What is it, 956? I don't have much time. According to the recent Bloom, June, so he talks about those articles too. That's the Bloomberg article. Similarities. Okay, so it's a lot of the same stuff. Okay, he will take GameStop private. Wow, see that? Okay, the signs are clear. Ryan Cole will likely take. All right, see then he qualifies it. It will likely take GameStop private. At what price we do not know, but there's a little likely. I don't know, Justin. Likely. I don't know. I could see it. I see it. It's just on my base case, but it is for Justin. Okay. I think he's seen yet. Hasn't gone. It's a good idea. As good as true. Yep. Same. It says the same thing that I mentioned in my tweets. This is the same thing. Ryan Cohen pointed out how his name has chinks in its armor. Yep. He picks out the Christopher Davis. That's the attorney who filed the 13D. He calls out. Yep. In particular, the shareholder activism, proxy contests, and tender offers. He's the one who filed the 13D. The attorney's name is listed there. Investor looking to take a passive stake in a company doesn't follow Schedule D and doesn't hire Christopher. Well, I don't know about that, right? There's a difference between an active, like it almost seems like Justin's saying passive stake or buyout, but there's obviously, this is a spectrum, right? It could be an active stake that isn't a buyout. Justin knows this, but when I see language like this, it just sticks out to me as it interferes with my probability models in that he could be taking an activist stake and just wants to participate. The other Chewy member on the board is involved, and maybe he just likes the story. I don't know. I know so, but it's definitely a possibility. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's also possible. And again, Justin would agree with this, that he's just taking a more activist stake and wants to maybe act as an advisor or something like that. Get on the board. Maybe he's just trying to build out his board. Maybe, I don't know. It seems compelling enough where if I were Cohen, I could envision maybe wanted to do it all, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough in his background to suggest that's definitely his plan. So he only needs to get vote over 50%, which I think he would get. However, given the number of holders each representing over 5% of the shares, the number of passively managed funds, it is unlikely he could get to over 50% of the shares. Wait a second. Is this true? So he only needs to get over 50% of the shares to force a short-form merger. However, given the number of holders, yes, that's right. It is unlikely he could get to over 50%. Yeah, but he doesn't need to. Cohen's best bet is to negotiate with the board of directors and come to an agreement on price. Shareholders will likely demand over $20. Oh, I don't know, Cohen. I don't know, Justin. I don't know. Do you see the shareholders? Look at the shareholders. I don't know if he's thinking about like himself and like Bari, but we're the minority. BlackRock, 11, 12, another 10, 22. Let's say he got up to let's say, well, just keep it 6, 28, 32. It's almost half the shares right there. Dimensional, add dimensional in there. I'm not saying these are definite yes votes, but some of these might just be funds that just, remember they didn't call back their shares for the board vote? Like, is it that crazy to think they'd just be like $10? Yeah, take it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with Justin on that. I think that might be, yeah, I think what Justin's trying to get at, what a fair price is. I agree with that you need to offer $20 for like Justin to be like, this is okay, but you got to be careful because he may get that yes votes with people who, remember, these people, and Justin noted this, they didn't even call back their shares for the board vote. They didn't even call back their shares. You think they're going to hold out for a much higher price? I don't know, man. And such a price should be no issues. Yeah, this is my issue. I didn't read the whole article yet, but this sticks out to me. Maybe I'll reach out to Justin. We will find out soon if he has gone over 10%. Right, we will. If he does go over 10%, we should. I think he'll have 10 days because I'll have to find out Form 3 and then Form 4s thereafter. All right, the other stuff seems similar to my tweet. Oh, it's 10. Oh, shit. Don't snitch. So we went over. Oh, someone say something? Harsh Patel. I checked Chris Davis' profile experience. He doesn't have any experience with tender offer, at least not listed on his site. Yeah, that's same. I feel like Justin's article was okay-ish, it was more of a fantasy scenario. I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing yet. But like I said, Harsh, there's so many bearish things out there that it's almost like it's counterbalancing that stuff. It's like it's good to have that type of article. I don't know. Yeah, Harsh, you know what I mean. Jordan, so a hostile vote in the funds vote yes automatically? Just asking, don't know if this is hostile. Board will not support under 15. Board vote? Wait, that's the shareholders. You know what I mean? Like, you think the board... let me research this. So they need 50% of shareholders vote, no? So funds might vote automatically. The price has been discounted for so long. Why wouldn't they just vote? Like, they're not activist investors. They're going to get a guaranteed 100% return on their current investment. They're going to say no to that. So I don't know. Let me research this too, and then maybe he has to interact with the board. But yeah, if it goes hostile, doesn't he just need shareholder vote? They kick it to a vote. Shareholders, they gets more than 50%, and it's done. I think it could. I don't know. Again, it's not my base case. But. Trey, I have a feeling it might be an app with a digital code storefront for those that want the digital experience to buy games from home. GameStop already offers digital code. Harsh, and you just put in the voucher digital code. I missed something. So funds will go against the board. Okay, interesting. Something to look into for me. Yeah, I'll look into it too. Let me look more into. I can't say this enough. I'm not experienced on short squeezes or even these types of buyouts. It's something we all should be more. If you're really that curious about GameStop. The funds aren't auto yes votes necessarily. I'm just saying, look at what GameStop stock price has done. And they're passive investors. They're going to guarantee 100% return on your investment. You're really going to say no, so you can get a possible extra 100%. So just something to bear in mind. But again, not my base case right now, but something that got us chatting. So thank you, Justin, for the article. I'll read more about this. And thank you for everyone sharing your thoughts too. But I get something to research now. I like something new thing to research, so I appreciate it. So okay, now we're after 10. Oh shit, on a Friday. It's Friday. It might be a good blend of the two experiences, dude. Are you still streaming, Lafayette? Dude, you're a beast. Cheers. All right, so 10 o'clock. No, we're all done. We gotta get going. We gotta get going. It's Friday. It's Friday here on the West Side. Okay, cheers, everybody. Have a nice night. Thank you for the questions. Good conversations like always. Have a nice weekend. We'll see what happens with GameStop next week. I mean, and there's other stocks too. Make sure to play. Thank you, Rowan Kitty. It was great. Cheers, mate. I appreciate it. Sad ending the stream. Good discussions though. Really, I appreciate the questions. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like everyone. Oh yeah, I know. I include to like and subscribe. I hear the like and subscribe super important. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to this, the YouTube stream stuff. I see everyone else do it. Oh, make sure you like and subscribe, subscribe. So when I was doing the Final Cut stuff, I'm like, let me include that in the thing. I don't know if it matters. But anyway, thanks everybody. Have a baller weekend. Thanks, Trey. You too. I always appreciate the feedback. Later, Harsh. Appreciate the questions. I hope you're right about your analysis too. Even if I disagree, I'm like, yeah, I hope you're right, Harsh. I hope you're right. Cyan, $11. Just on the Cyan, just quickly. That's just the technical range. Just Not a prediction, not a forecast or anything, just something to look out for. Like I feel like the next leg up might get us to $11. Just probabilities, not a guarantee or anything, just something to look out for. And we're right at the low end of this range. It's just a range, who knows. Have a good weekend. Football's back. Cheers. Yeah, football's back. All right, cheers everybody. See you next week. Cheers. Cheers, Wave. Cheers everybody. Have a good weekend. Thank you as always. Have a nice night with some kiddies here. All right, peace out.